Okay. So I know that we are geographically we are spread across. Currently, I'm in Europe, and the local time is going to be around 5:45 local time. So with this, I'm starting. My name is Karthi, and I do carry about 21 years of industry experience in completely on an SAP, and the last 1 decade on the TM, EWM, and yard logistics, along with LBN/BN4L. So if you look at it, I'm a more of a supply chain management consultant, and I'm working in various capacity. I worked in various capacity, and I do work in kind of a, like as an architect role right now, and I did also manage the projects. If you look at it in terms of my domain, of course, I worked in high tech industries. I worked in manufacturing. I also worked in core logistics, both on a shipper and LSPs, of course, with pharma as well. So we can able to cover. Of course, I do have a bit of a knowledge on oil and gas, but I did not completely work on oil and gas, because only on the proof of concept I worked with them, not as a full-fledged a kind of an implementation. So with this, last few years I'm working on an S4HANA. Before that, I worked on the decentralized environment, or we call them as like 9.x, and then we gone into an S4 HANA. And this training is my passion. So and then Naveen is my very good friend, and that's the reason I always be with Naveen. I do not conduct anywhere, and it's only with Naveen. So basically, training is my passion. I like to share knowledge, and that's how I enjoy. So with this context, I know that many of you are coming from a different background. Of course, delivery lead, and then one person is having a more of a lot of domain experience, and some of them are getting started and so on. I think it's a kind of a mixed audience today, but the rest of the thing, we will ensure that we are trying to bridge the gap wherever it is needed, and whenever it is required, we will see to it we all come into the same speed without losing the momentum. So that way it is guaranteed. And the one environment what you're going to work is going to be on an S4HANA environment, and that would be your working environment, which you can call as a sandbox, or you can call it as a development system, or whatever it is. But that is the environment you're going to work on. So I believe that should be enough for you to get started and working on it. And perhaps as we go on, we can able to brainstorm ourselves. So before I get started, if you do have any kind of an expectations, we can take about 5 minutes quickly. If you do have any questions, or any expectations for this particular demo, or this is not a properly a demo, it's kind of a brainstorming what we are going to learn in if at all we all are going for a training, so you can put up your expectations, and from there, we can take it forward, and make it vocal, and make it interactive.
Hi Karthik, Sayed here. Sorry, I was not able to introduce.
No problem.
So, see, right now I'm working in EW, as a functional consultant. So
Yes, Sayed.
my interest is to learn TM and mostly on the integration side and to
Okay.
cover up the scenarios, all four scenarios. Uh, Basically shipper as well as LSP based. So
No problem.
that is my motive. Yeah, yeah.
No, no problem.
And then just or some brief introduction on the BN4L logistics business network for logistics, Karthik. So that way I'm looking at it.
No problem. Appreciate it. No problem, Sayed. I think,
Okay,
yeah, yeah. Good, good, good.
okay, Karthik. Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, thanks, Sayed. And anyone, just another 2 more minutes before we get started. Any expectations? Any input? Something, I know that we are here to share knowledge. So, anything you'd like to know, let me know. All right. So if there are no questions, I'll set up the ground now. The ground is like I will be showing a PPT. Of course, Navin knows me that I don't like PPTs much, but as a process, I'm going to show you a PPT, and this PPT is a kind of overwhelming data into it, and we will be rushing them because we want to showcase that what are the things you're going to learn. So, but for me, I always go with an interactive mode. So interactive mode in the sense like I'll take up an example, I'll start explaining you an example, and I'll try to map you to the system. So that's how I do it, and we will keep as a kind of a tool as a PPT, but the PPT would not be a kind of a only a tool which we are going to work on it. All right. So if at all if you are a kind of a PPT guy, I apologize. PPT would be a 1% or 2% of my classes. So all right. So with this, kindly let me know if you can able to see my screen. Is my screen visible for you guys?
It is.
You can see it, right? Great. All right. So if you look at it, welcome, and on behalf of Naveen, I welcome you to ExpertSoft. And I believe Naveen would have explained to you what he is and what kind of a company he's running in. But I do believe in Naveen. He's a kind of a professional, and he do deliver the quality in quality systems, and also the supports are superb. And I believe if you get into an access to Naveen system, you will be getting a single sign-on. That's kind of he puts all kind of a new technologies into it to make you familiarize with all the technologies, sophisticated environment. So that way, rest assured, you will have a better system. From a training perspective, as I said, my name is Karthi, so I come from an SAP background. So probably we can dive deep into it rather than me repeating it again. So what we are going to do today is like the agenda is supposed to be a self introduction, and then basic concepts, and then features and processes, followed with the main configuration and master data elements, and then we are going to talk about the training content. I believe we already covered part one, the number one, and we will get into the number two, which is going to be a basic concepts, features, and processes. So if you look at it, if you look at it, what we are going to do here is like we are going to talk about overall, a kind of a full-fledged TM. This is the landscape of a TM. What you're seeing it right now in the screen is a full landscape of a TM. Now, if you look at it, somewhere you'll be reading something called an SAP ERP. The reason why we designed this PPT, I'm taking as a kind of a disclaimer, is for only reason is right now there are many S4HANA projects that are coming in, which is very appreciative. But there are also many projects which have been developed or been running in go live in 9.x. What it means to us is tomorrow you might end up in a kind of a project which has already been done in 9.x, which they are migrating to S4HANA. That's scenario one. Scenario two, there may be in an instance where you'll be getting a maintenance project for some time and you need to support them. So that's number point two. Number three, it's always better to understand what was before and how it can be transformed to the current scenario. So that is number three. So keeping these three scenarios in mind, we have developed a kind of a PPT for you to understand how it was before and how it was being transferred now. So the one which you're seeing it is in the 9.x model or 9.x landscape. So what it means is like if you visualize yourself, if you look into your landscape, what it shows to you is like you have an SAP ERP environment, or you have a separate instance which is an E.
Karthi,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but I see only the
Yeah, go
first
ahead. Go
slide.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, I do see on the screen as first slide.
Saying
There is
something.
no next.
What is it?
Only first slide I
I
see.
couldn't
Experts
hear
of
you. What
trainings.
is it?
I do see only first slide. It's not moving. Are you sharing the other slides or only the first one?
No, is it not moving to anyone, or is it not? How is it?
It's
Same
same.
here.
Okay, let
Only
me.
first slide.
Now it has come. Yeah, now it has come.
I think there is some lagging. Let me,
Lag, I think.
yeah,
Mm,
let's do one thing. Instead of me sharing a window, what I will do is I'll share the complete screen. So that way, we will not have that problem. Is it now you can able to see the people who are in, like you can able to see the meeting,
yes,
right?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Now,
Mm,
now
now, yeah, this TM process, SAP transport management process is there. Okay.
visible. Now I'm moving the screen above. Tell me whether
Yes,
it's visible.
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. I can see the agenda now. Mm.
Oh, very good. Then all good. Thanks for that. So, what we are going to talk about is this is the a complete landscape. The one which you're seeing is a complete landscape. But the landscape, what we took is like having your two environments. Say, for example, you will be having an kind of an SAP ECC environment, which we call them as an ERP environment, and you do have another instance, which is a TM instance. Okay. So in this point, I would like to give you a point here saying that SAP TM can work as an integrated solution. That's number one, or it can work on its own. So it has two features in it where an SAP TM can work on its own. That's kind of a beneficiary for a TM environment, and it can also be a tightly integrated environment along with an ECC environment slash ERP environment. Maybe once we dive deep into our TM in a later sessions, once we get into the training and so on, we can able to delve deep into it to understand why it is being given as a kind of an independent system, and how it is also being a good system for to an integration. All right. So keeping that aside for a moment, now what we are going to talk about is like, how the whole holistic view of TM looks like. So the holistic view comes here. Let me see if I can able to take the laser pointer, right? So if you look at it, if you look at it, the order management, right? The order management, the planning, execution and subcontracting, charges and settlement. These are the four core areas putting you together to form a TM module. So in tomorrow, when you, for an example, if you go and speak to a client, or if you're a customer facing a consultant, or when you are talking to another consultant, regardless of, if you are talking about a transportation management, specifically about an SAP TM, all you need to know about is like, order management, planning, execution, subcontracting, charges and settlement. These are the four core areas for which you need to pay more attention, or I would say that you have to breathe in and breathe out on these four core areas. That's all. Now, looking at it on the hierarchically, and then we can look into the the other side of it, how it is getting derived. We will be diving deep into the each and every topic of this. And if you see here, the whole structure that has been formed here, right? It is having a lot of in-depth information. What it means to us is like, as what we see is not that easy. It's just a word, but for each word we have a meaning, and for every meaning we have a configuration. For every configuration there is a dependency. For that dependency we need a metadata. So if you look at it here carefully, a great environment, but we need to go in deep, having the scenarios built. When I say scenarios, the business scenarios built, and these business scenarios need to get fit into this kind of an environment for you to get what you want. So that's what from all these years, whatever I learned, I will try to do the knowledge transfer to you guys, and you can start working on it. So that is how it will look like. All right. Now, Let's get into the next slide.
I think one question on this slide.
Go ahead.
Yeah. In this freight settlement document, in both the cases, we have same freight settlement, or is it a different?
Which both case you're talking about?
Like it's coming from forwarding order and it's coming from freight order and freight booking, but
Correct,
both are mapping to freight settlement document only.
correct. Only the input process are different. When you're looking from an LSP scenario, your forwarding order will have only the forwarding settlement document created. But eventually, when it comes into a freight order, there is only one document that's called freight.
Okay, you mean to say for freight order it's freight settlement, but forwarding order it would be
Your
forwarding
voice is
settlement.
breaking. Your voice just broke. I missed it.
Just a second. Just a second.
Check it.
Am I audible now?
Yeah. Very much, very
Uh,
much.
no, no. What I was asking, like in both the cases, like as you said, freight order or freight booking, it will be freight settlement. In case of forwarding order, again it will be freight settlement or some other one.
Freight settlement only, because
Okay,
your
okay,
forward order will eventually get converted into a freight order.
okay, okay, sir. Thank you.
No problem. So now what we are trying to dive deep into it. If you look into it, it's a one level deep here. One level deep. We are trying to talk about how we are trying to how why I'm saying it's more in deep. Of course, there is a change in colors, but if you look at it, this is how the S4 HANA would look like. What is the difference here? You won't see this ERP here anymore. You won't see ERP anymore here because it's already got embedded here. So that's where the difference between our ERP system and our S4 HANA system. And of course, when we get into the training, then we will be talking about 1 or 2 hours, or even if it is required, we will spend about 2 classes to understand how an ERP environment do connect and which are the various areas that will be getting connected. Of course, we have a detailed diagram coming in the slides and how an S4 HANA would also work on it and how it is getting integrated. Okay. So if you look at it, the differences, we took over that SAP ERP and we embedded here. That's all. You won't see any ERP anymore. And sidecar, when you talk about, these are the jargons which you are using it, right? In a decentralized environment, sidecars and everything. For now, not to confuse sidecar, decentralized, keep it as it is, and then when time comes in, we will speak on that. Of course. Now, this is exactly what we were talking about in LSP. Of course, Syed, this is what you are referring to. If you look at it, the forwarding quotation, forwarding order, and these are the areas where your orders are coming in versus the orders are coming from here. The orders are coming from sales order and purchase order. So now, if you look at it, this is called a shipper scenario. This is called a shipper scenario, and this is called an LSP scenario. So in this case, what happens is only your order, the order that is getting received is different. Where one for the shipper scenarios, it comes from a sales order, purchase order. Whereas for an LSP scenario, it comes through a forwarding quotation, forwarding order, and so on. But if you look at it, eventually it will end up in freight settlement document. And for the customer specific, it will create a freight forwarding settlement document. This is a customer specific, not a vendor specific. We will dive deep into it. Just this is all 10,000 foot height. Just giving a bird's eye view of what we are going to cover, not in detail. Of course, these are something which you need to know. The reason behind this, like, by 2030 or something, 2027, the LETRA, Logistics Execution Transportation Module, is part of an ERP that is getting replaced by S4HANA. So eventually they have to move in to TM if they do have an LETRA module. So that's what we'll be covering here. Of course, we'll be talking about, what are the various factors. I mean, I think, with a given time frame, I believe, we can skip this for now. This is important. Now, again, this is an integration architecture, but keep in mind, this integration architecture is not an S4HANA architecture. This is a 9.x architecture. Okay, 9.x architecture. The good thing is, it's a old wine in a new bottle. Okay, old wine in a new bottle. This same structure is being brought into S4HANA, but it's being done in a different way. You can also keep a note of it, which we call them as a BGRFC. Okay, we call them as a big RFC or background RFC or whatever it is. So the BGRFC is the one which is going to handle the whole stuff in S4HANA. So for you to understand what is a BGRFC going forward, you need to know how this integration architecture has been done before. All right. So the reason behind this, we will be in our session, when we get in, we will be talking about, external third-party integration, how you receive the orders, number one. How are you connecting to your optimizer? That is where it is coming in. We will be talking about that also. And we will be also talking about an event management also. We'll be talking about that. And apart from that, we also be talking about BN4L slash LBN. LBN was called before, now it is BN4L. Then we will be also talking about EWM. We also will be talking about GTS. So if you look at it, we will be talking on this on a very tightly way. We will be talking because you need to know about it, how the other systems are tightly integrating to TM, because TM do receive information and do send information out again. So if you want to understand, you need to know this complete technical landscape before you jump in. So we need to dive deep into it. Now we are talking about PI, now they are talking about CI, now they are talking about so many things they are talking about on a cloud and so on. So we will be diving deep into it, but this is like an ABCD. Even if you want to get your masters, your ABCD should be very clear. So we will make sure that your ABCDs are clear so that you can get into your masters. So that's how we are building this whole scope, and this is the ABCD of your lesson. All right, we will be diving deep into it. All right. Now moving on to it, of course, we have two versions, right? One is basic shipping and advanced transportation. If you ask me to who this will be very beneficiary, like I say, for example, I'm a consultant. I'm joining a consulting group. So when I go and approach a customer, the customer would be having some information, sometimes zero information. So they may be asking us a question saying that, hey, come on, bring me the licensing, bring me the cost. And in that case, you have to be very transparent, telling them that, which are the options you have within an SAP. So when you tell them, SAP do provide you two options. One is called basic shipping and one is called advanced transportation. So there is a high possibility some of the customers whom you're approaching it do not need a kind of an advanced transportation. Depends on what kind of a business they are into. And some of them can go with the basic shipping itself. So you need to do the trade-offs. You need to do the trade-offs with your customer to ensure that what you're proposing is correct. Sometimes you may get into a kind of a position or a capacity where you are an architect and you need to design yourself, saying that what is best to your customer. So at that time you need to jump in and you have to propose them a correct solution, because somebody audits tomorrow, you should not get into a suit. So we will be talking that as well. This is a good example. This is an example. We took it as a kind of a shipper scenario, creation of a sales order end to end. What are the things we are going to do? What we will do, we will create a sales order, we will create a delivery, we will be doing a freight planning, then we will do a subcontracting, we will be doing the picking, and then we will be doing a print loading instructions, load freights, and then of course you need to print the transportation documents, then you do the goods issue, then the departure, arrival at customer, proof of delivery, create billing document, trigger and post price settlement document, invoice verification. 1 second, guys. This is a very good scenario, happy scenario, a simple scenario. But this is not a kind of a great flow scenario. This is to give you an idea, but don't take it as a Bible. Because if you look at it, print loading instructions, right? This is a background process, okay? Load freight is also a background process. Print transportation documents is also a background process. Departure of truck, arrival at customer, proof of delivery, these are all event managed, okay? Creating billing document, also an automatic process. Trigger and post freight, it's a batch process. Invoice verification is also a batch. So if you look at it, we are trying to bring you a scenario based, but tomorrow, if at all you claim that you know SAP TM, you need to know in each and every step, how it is getting created, how it is getting triggered, and so on. Tomorrow, in front of your customer, you cannot go and just point blank you say that this is my process. No. First, you need to understand their business context, take it inside to your mind, have them in your mind, and then run through the steps and find out where their process are getting mapped. And once it's kept mapped, you need to see that which one comes from an ERP, which one comes from TM, which comes from EWM, which comes from GTS, which comes from automated process, and so on. That's where your expertise would come in, not like looking at it and telling them. So the reason why I'm taking or stressing here not to buy heart it is, this is just for your information to make you happy. So that's why I said it's a happy scenario. But for you to create the scenario itself, it will take time. But at least you can keep them as a kind of a model and you can move forward. But we will be modeling them. We will be modeling it them from the beginning and we will be trying to do it. But print loading instructions, it's kind of like wherever it's required a technical things, we would skip it and we will understand that okay, it's creating it, okay? But rest of the thing we will try to have an end-to-end flow. So keep that in mind and follow that. All right. Any questions? All right. Now we are diving a bit deep onto your organizational structure. So basically, if you remember, I said, there is a very good reason why SAP TM can work on a standalone, because the way how an SAP did architecturally modeled is that for a system to work, they need to have a sales organization and a purchasing organization. That's all. Rest of the thing will work as it is, because for your customer, you need to have a sales organization. For your vendor, you need to have a purchasing organization, and so on. So if you can model these two together, your SAP would work. So the same model, SAP TM do have a kind of a single environment where it can able to create their own sales organization and own purchasing organization without having a dependency on your ERP. So that way, that is the reason I said SAP TM can work on its own. There is also a reason behind it. I need to give you that reason also, because this SAP TM primarily was designed for an LSPs. But it's so ironically what happened, it is so strong for a manufacturing or a shipper scenario than an LSPs. So if you look at from an LSP perspective, LSP do not receive the orders from a sales order or a forwarding orders or a purchase orders. Rather, they get orders from an external system where it will be interfaced to your TM via forwarding orders. So there is a very good reason why they designed an SAP TM to handle the orders by itself. And that's the reason it's been built like that. Later, when the product become more matured, they found that integrations are working well, how do I call it, well gelled, rather than an LSP. So that's the reason the shipper scenarios are more compared to an LSP, where LSPs need to write a lot of customization, to fit into the model. So that's where it is. But bottom line, SAP TM can work on its own. All right, keep that in mind. Of course, you will have a company code, sales organization, purchasing organization, and planning, execution organization, and so on. But this is all we will look into it, and then which are the roles we are going to have. And the majority of your information is called master data. So part of your master data is your transportation network, and this would be your beginning of your master data. And of course, how we are going to have a end-to-end integration is that we have integrations coming from outside world, coming to the TM world, and we are also talking to the external world. This is EHS, CRM, GTS, EM, EWM, ERP, and EWM, and we can also have B4NL or BN4L or whatever you're talking about. That will be replaced by the collaboration portal. Now, this collaboration portal is a portal that is being developed, or that was available, that were available during your 9.x time frame. This has got replaced now by the supplier portal, or we call them as a LBN/BN4L. All right, and then we'll have a lot of integration. I think Syed or somebody was talking about they want to know more about integration and so on, right? So this is where the integration comes in. Here also integration comes in. Here integration comes. The whole environment talks about integration, but you need to know how. First of all, you cannot model all the integration because you need a technical expertise to help you out. But you should know how to integrate. That's all. Moving on to that. Now, basically, this is how.
One second.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sachin here.
Yes.
Can you go to this previous slide, please?
This side. Right?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So basically, what we are talking about is EWM. Okay. So when we say we are implementing S4HANA for TM. Okay. So definitely EWM will be embedded. Correct?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
And I'm not sure about the event management, but the GTS and CRM is not there, but EHS or something. Especially, I'm interested in EWM and GTS. So, are they?
They are not. In fact, to answer you, it's not a mandate that EWM should be as part of your S4HANA, even though it is there. Say for example, you can take up an example like you're coming to me. I'm your client, for example. I would have already implemented an EWM beforehand when we having my ERP before. Now, since it is a mandate that I need to migrate my ERP into S4HANA, right? Now, what I what I will do, I will leave the EWM because already EWM is my separate instance. I will not touch them because for me to migrate, EWM is a big cost for me. Rather, I leave EWM as it is because that would be already in my S4HANA environment. Now, what I will do, I will only migrate my ERP environment into an S4HANA environment, and I will do a connectivity between my S4HANA to EWM. That is one way of doing it. Number two, if EWM never been part of an implementation, but due to my upgrade and everything, I can also do my EWM in my embedded environment. So these two scenarios would come.
So basically, when there is a greenfield project for S4HANA for a particular client, definitely EWM. It depends on the project team whether they are, and of course the requirement of the business, whether they are activating EWM as well as SAP TM. Correct? So once they activate both, let's say SAP TM and EWM, definitely that integration is a smooth. Or you don't need to do too much of configurations or setup to just integrate. It is a smooth integration because these two components have been activated. That's it.
That is correct. And adding to your question, what you asked me, EM is a separate pack. EM is a separate pack. GTS is a separate pack, EHS is a separate pack.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Karthik. Appreciate it.
That they come as a separate, either they will put it in a separate instance, EWM, sorry, EM, GTS can go together or EHS can go together, depends on how the landscape need to be built. But for your kind of information, EM, GTS, EHS, CRM, they're all separate.
Got it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Right. Any other questions? Okay. All right, this is we are diving a little deep. I know that it's not going to make much of a value. Basically, what we are telling them is like how to configure an order integration. Just keep that in mind now, because if I want to make you understand this, I need to spend about at least 3-4 hours before you come into this particular screen. Maybe this is a kind of wonderful idea from our experts of to give you a kind of an overview of what is going to be in your configuration. So I'm with all due respect, I'm going to keep skipping that. All right, this is how the forwarding order and everything, but that don't worry about it. This is all we are going to talk about it. And I'm going to give you a glimpse of it. And okay, this is how basically tomorrow when you become a consultant and when you're discussing with the users, and end of the day, if they decided to have a planning that needs to happen, and this is exactly what your deliverable will be to your end users, because your planners are your key users, and these key users would be using this particular screen. And if at all you're building a command center, this would be your command center screen. And this is exactly what, or I would say, one part of your command center would be yours, this screen. So that's what I want to tell you. This and all, these are all just for information. I don't want to bore you guys here. And this is how PI integration is all about, mapping, and then how the freight settlement process is happening. And this is a end-to-end collaboration. This is much a bit of an interesting thing, right? How a shipper works, and then how the end customer work and everything. So if you look at it, basically what you need to understand is any manufacturing company who wants to ship their own product, they are the shippers. Any company who are taking the orders from many external customers and they're trying to deliver on behalf of that particular customer are LSPs. Simple. Don't confuse yourself. Keep this as a kind of a embark yourself, and then keeping this information, start flowing your data. You will be easy to follow the other processes. Of course, event management, how we are going to do it, and we will be adding all these events into the freight orders, right? So what I will do is quickly, I will take you to the screen. Okay, I will show you the screen how it will look like. And this is what I said. I always like I appreciate Naveen because he implemented a single sign-on. I never put my user ID and password. It's a single sign-on, so you don't need to remember your user ID password any given point of time. And it's trying to open it. I'm trying to open up the Fury app. And if you go to the transportation management, these are all called Fury apps. Okay, so if you go to the freight orders, because I won't need to show you how it looks like, right? So because we are talking about events, right? You also need to know what is the events and so on. So I'll showcase that. So I'm just opening any one of the freight order. I'm choosing randomly. Don't worry, many of them are not created by me. So if you look at it, this is what the freight order is all about. Okay, it will have various tabs. Various tabs. Now this is the general data. See, if you look at it, these are all coming from a master data. These are all master data. These are all master data. This is the configuration data. These are all coming from a master data. These are all coming from a master data. So if you look at it, master data are the key. Master data are the key. All right. So now if you look at it, I said right, and in the execution, if you go to the execution, you see here, like let me edit it here. Now you can go and report a new event. Now see, we are talking about so many events, right? We are talking about events, right? See, if you go back to the PPTC, these are the expected events, right? So this is the integration point. Okay, these are the integration point. Now in the configuration where we will be having it is like, if you go to your SPRO, IMG, go to the transportation management, go to your freight order. So if you look at it, the integrations perspective, I'll pick it up the standard one, right? Which is the freight order with subcontracting. Let me pick this up. No problem. Let me pick this up. See here, you see that you have application object type. This okay. This is for your EM. That is, this is for event management. This is for EWM. This is for your delivery. This is for your GTS. This is for your DG. But but it's not that I can go and select something. I need to do a lot of activity before I come here. But I'm giving you a heads up saying that where we do configure them. So if you come here, so that's what I said, right? We need to have a lot of information, that we need to collate them and bring it here, right? So if you come here, where did I go here? Okay. Now, if you come in here for an event, say for example, let's say ready for execution. Let's say ready for execution. So we need to give the location, which point it is. Then we have to say, I'll give the date today. I will give the time as like, just I'm giving some time and I'm clicking on OK. See, the event has been reported. But in reality, in any given situation, any given medium-sized business, there will be at least 200 to 300 freight orders. So 300 freight orders and having 10 events 3,000 times, nobody can do it. That means this event should happen, this recording should happen automatically. That's where an event management will come and interface to us, correct? Once that is being interfaced to us, if for somebody who's on the road has to do that, for them, they need to have a mobile device or they need to have some kind of an, event based kind of a tool for them to push it to EM, from EM to TM. So that is what you need to understand. Basically, this is the placeholder, but before it comes in here, there are prerequisites which it needs to happen. So that is what you need to understand. You're getting my point, right? So the similar way, you will have a blocking information. You will have a lot of blocking information here. So these are the blocks which will be influenced by your GTS. Like, it will put a planning block, it will put an invoicing block, it will put an execution block. Then you will have something called document flow. If you look at the document flow, it tells from where this document has been created. I think somebody has created this, right? So if you look at it, these are the stages where it's going in. So there are many areas what we are trying to do it, and what is that we need to do it. Subcontracting. This is where we'll be interacting with the vendors. And there are many actually. We have charges, we have many things which we'll be talking about. That's what I'm saying. TM is a very vast subject, but it's very informative, very superb subject. The only thing is, if you have passion, you will love it. And we will try to give you a bit of a passion to it. We'll try to do a bit of a passion for it. All right. So now we will be talking a lot. For here, you will be having a lot of scheduling, you'll be having subcontracting, you will be having statuses, loading statuses, execution statuses, charge settlement. And tomorrow when you integrate in EWM, you will be also seeing a tab here for EWM, where when you introduce a ASR. So if you come across something called an ASR, that's a new feature that has came out in 2020, but didn't get mature until 2022, because from 2020 onwards I was using ASR, but every time I used to report to SAP to improvise it. I can proudly say that I was also one of the person who has influenced to bring more, fix that to that particular ASR. So if you look at it, there are a lot of things which has been built, and there is a lot of nitty-gritties which you need to learn. So it's not like a straightforward I come in and look in and move away. That's the reason I said don't worry about it. There's a lot of things to be learned. Is that clear? Any questions? All right. One thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
Karthik.
Okay.
Karthik Sachin here.
Yeah, Sachin.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, it's not a question, but maybe it's a kind of a request, or maybe in the future. So basically, when we are going, or when you're walking us through the syllabus, what I would request is that first take it as simple scenarios, and then I hope you will taking it to gradually complex scenarios, right? Take on example, okay, without event management, okay, now with event management, with EWM, or I don't want to get into too much of complicated about the event management and EWM, but yes, a normal process, a shipper's normal process, end to end, as a very simple to complicated, whatever we can do within the stipulated time.
In fact, you just read my mind. That's my style actually. I never ever get into the advanced topic in very soon. I'll make sure that that's my mantra. So, like, I say, build the baby steps first. Make the basic scenarios to work, to have your confidence built. Then start building the complex scenarios. That is what I always insist. And even if you look at my recordings, all these 13 sessions I have taken so far, and this is my 13th or 14th. Even I lost my count. So all through the time, I never ever get into the advanced topic immediately. All I will tell them, build the basics, make one simple scenario to work, and start building with the same data. Start building the complexity.
All
All
right,
right.
thank you. That will be helping us. Thank you.
Yeah. And one thing which I want to tell you, this is a CO2 emissions, right? In the earlier, this 2023, the CO2 emissions have come in. Now, I was the person who wrote an FSD for calculating the CO2 emissions, because there is one for consortiums are available where we calculated how the freight orders, rail has to calculate how the emissions to be calculated on the ocean. Everything we built it. Now SAP did brought this as a standard. See, if you look at it, I can able to tell that, with a proud saying that we were the early bird to request this kind of information where it is becoming a standard product. So this is one which we did for one Switzerland company. I cannot tell the name, but for them, I personally wrote an FSD actually for building this report, individual report. This was my part of my rise up, but now it has become a standard. So that's what I'm saying. We can capitalize it. It's all how well you are coming in, how well you're showing your interest. The motivation is the key factor to derive. All right. All right. So going back to our things. So now this is the event. Of course, this is what exactly I showed you, right? So then, of course, output management. Don't worry about it. Carrier selection. This will be done as part of your optimizer. Okay, this is done with the part of an optimizer. Without knowing an optimizer, this will be a clueless. And the tendering, of course, we know what is the tendering all about. And then this is a bit of a tricky, it's called PCF. Probably, we will be talking when I touch you the topic on the optimizer. I will be talking about this process controller framework, especially on the strategies we'll be talking about, because sometimes you might need to enhance the strategies what is being provided by an SAP, which is not recommended by an SAP, but due to our business demand, we might need to change the strategies. That means you might enhance the strategies. Of course, it's the DG and LSPs which we spoke about. We are talking, this is exactly what we are going to talk about more in detail. This is exactly we are going to cover. And friends, don't, this is for your information, as like how the syllabus is provided to you, right? This is just a content to tell you that these are all things which are going to cover. But we might not go in the same order. We will be going in the scenario orders. We will be taking a live scenario. We will be taking a simulated company. That simulated company, we will put a scenarios on it. And once we start building the scenarios, the information on these particular topics will be filled in. So that is my style. I mean, this is a book style, but we want to go by a live scenario style, so that the reason behind is tomorrow when you go in and you are trying to approach as a consultant or a customer or a vendor or anybody, you cannot go by, okay, do I have it in a topic one, topic two, topic three? No, you need to go by a scenario. You need to go by a domain. You need to go by a project. So that is what I will be doing it. This is for your reference. Probably I believe our Naveen will share you this content. Kindly review them, keep in your mind. And once you start the first class, we will be putting a notepad saying that what we are going to cover it. And I will be taking with a kind of a simulated company, and we will be building that. From there, we will be building one basic scenario, and then advanced topic, advanced topic, advanced topic, advanced topic. And the last, when you look into it at the last, you would have built an end-to-end scenario. So this is for you to refer through it, because even if I want to explain you line by line, it will take another 2 hours. But rest assured, whatever it is there as an end-to-end process, we will be covering it. Except as a disclaimer, we would not cover any kind of an integration. Say, for example, if it is a BN4L, we can cover it up, but we need a separate system. I don't know whether Naveen is trying to get you a B4NL or not. I don't know whether there is a part of your scope or not, but you can approach to him. He do have a good system where the B4NL is also being covered. So probably that will be an additional thing, but you can approach him on that. That is number one. GTS, I'm trying to get into that another system. They are working on it behind the scenes. Admins are working on it. If the GTS comes in, we can try it. Even if for EM also we can try for it, and EWM for sure we can try. That is not a problem. But only thing is BN4L will be a kind of a difficult thing. I think technically, if you look at it, we would not write any coding or nothing, because I'm not a technical guy. But I know what need to be done. But if you ask me to write the code, I'm not that confident in writing the code. I'm not a coder, but still I can tell you, when you need to write your FSD, what is that you need to consider yourself to write it, and where you need to find it, and how to find it, and which are the transaction code, which are the objects, which are the tables you need to do it. That level I can get into it, but honestly, I cannot help you or open up a screen, write some code, and show you something. I cannot do that, but I know the rest of the thing I can help you. All right, questions.
Karthik, Sayed here.
Yes, sir.
A couple of questions from my side.
Hmm.
For for this TM to understand thoroughly about the master data and all, so what are the models or prerequisite we have to be aware about? Like for example, when we are doing service entry sheet is getting created and service PO and all. So for that we require our service master to integrate it, all those things.
Mm.
This is one kind of example I mean to say. So
Yeah. One good thing is since I come from an end-to-end background, right? What I would be doing is for our simulated company, I would take some off time and I would be creating from the sales side. I will create all the relevant information or relevant configuration for creating a sales order and outbound delivery. And from a MM side, I will make configuration for creating a purchase order and outbound delivery. Similarly, that service PO or service entry sheet and activity. One thing which I will be doing is while I'm doing it, I will tell you which are the things I have configured, like I rightly said, service entry sheet and service PO. That and all I will explain. You don't need to really study hard for that. I will explain.
okay, okay, that's fine. And the other question is on this when we are on the project. So what are the things like, for example, cutover activities, what we have to do, or a list of activities which we have to perform, as part of cutover and the roles and authorizations. So are we going to discuss on those areas as well?
Yeah, as a kind of a value-added service, I can help you out. But I can tell you with my experience, I can tell you what are the things you need to do it, and then which are the gray areas and how you need to address them. We can take one kind of when doing a simulated company, right? For that itself, we can discuss that, what we need.
Yeah. Actually,
But
my motive is like when we are discussing based on this simulation company and all, like we should keep in mind that in the real time how we have to move, how we have to proceed with the business and get the details with them
correct,
and
correct,
configuring the system. That is overall my
correct, correct.
thing.
But that is
That
where
way.
we are building that small system, saying that okay,
Mm.
this is scenario, this is how I'm building it, and I'm moving forward. First what you will do, you will be putting some kind of a. I would not even put the dummy data. I would put close enough to the real data. Okay, and when it's a real data, a meaningful data. Okay, now then that what we will be doing is we will be taking the one class prior to the closure of the code. We will be talking about what are the things you need to do it in terms of your process. Like, what is that you need to do it like a cutover activity, so on, and what are the things you need to do it for the yeah, so, you know,
Okay. And then coming to the integration, like that is my main topic, which I'm actually looking forward to. So
mhm.
integration mostly like as you mentioned, EWM and TM we may be doing. So will it be on TU based or ASR based or both you'll show?
Depends, because sometimes I need to check on the environment, but my way of doing it is on the ASR only, not through the TU base, because I want to go with the ASR because that's where we are using 2023 right now. So, but I'll keep you posted. Let me look into the system how efficient it's been built now, and
Mm-hmm.
but right now as a kind of a bottom line, you can call it as an ASR.
Okay, okay. And then integration with the other module, like as you said, you will be explaining theoretically. So will we be or will you show us that TM and yard logistic theoretical part as well, integration level?
I mean, maybe about 1 hour or 2 hours we can talk about yard logistics. But
Mhm.
I said I cannot really dive deep into it, right? We might not have a yard logistics, or we.
Okay, 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 guys. I think I'm good on that. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
How
Any other?
many how many sessions you think it should comprise of all?
We are talking about 40 hours. We are talking about full 40 hours. But rest assured, it is not limited to 40 hours. If it is getting extended, a bit there or here, I'm okay to extend it.
Thank you.
No problem. As I said, I'm doing it for my passion. So yes, sir, I'm here. Any other question from anyone? Because I don't want to hold you guys for a long time. All right. So then if there are no more questions, I really appreciate for your time, and thank you very much, and looking forward for our full-fledged meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you, Adit. Thank you, Evan. Yeah.
Thank you. Take care. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Bye bye.
Bye.
So I know that this is going to be our first session, so we will take it a bit slow. We will set up our agenda and so on, and then your expectations and the way how I would like to do the knowledge transfer and so on. So probably we'll take a quick a kind of a knowing each other, right? So whoever wants to go first, maybe Poonam, you join first, so you can go first, and one or two lines of your introduction, and I know that you've been into a demo session, but still it's good to have a kind of a word.
Yeah, thank you, Karthik. Hello, everyone. I am Poonam, and basically I am PhD, and I am from non-SAP background, but I have been working for past 1 year in transportation management in small projects. So, and
Your voice is breaking.
I'm trying to going deep into the technical part and and as well as which will support my theoretical knowledge as well.
So you will be called as Dr. Poonam?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Welcome, Doctor. Okay. So in the list, we have Ruchita.
Hi Karthik. Hi everyone.
I'm just going in a sequence, the sequence how I see it. Yeah. So
I'm currently working in Wipro. I have 15 months of experience in SAP TM. Yeah, I want to learn integrations and configurations in SAP TM. Yeah.
okay. So I think I missed about a minute what you spoke just now. Is it? Can you come back, Ruchita, if you don't mind?
Yeah,
You're on
Karthik.
mute.
Hello. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to learn configurations and integrations in SAP TM.
Okay, great. And you're coming from an SAP background, is that right, Ruchita?
Yeah. I have 15 months of experience in SAP TM only. Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice. Welcome to the group. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Sachin.
Hello.
Yeah, Sachin.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Good evening. Good evening, Karthik. Second year. Basically, I'm having 20 plus years experience in SAP. Last. The purpose of mine to join this group, join this training, three ways or three folds. Number one is understanding, definitely getting a knowledge about TMS altogether, be it core TMS as well as the integration. Secondly, I'm enthusiastic or to learn to understand it from you, how we will get this experience or knowledge to my business, okay, to implement it to our clients. I mean, me as a delivery manager in my company, we do have lots of bids and a lot of pre-sales activities and etc. So I hope
for some reason there is a voice lag. Naveen, are you feeling the same voice lag, Naveen? I think I barely understood what Ruchita or Poonam or Sachin is speaking, Naveen.
Is my voice clear?
Your voice is a bit clear, yes. but all the participants when they're speaking, there is a voice lag.
Actually, I understand your voice properly.
I think from your end, I think it's not coming correct. Is there something which I need to tweak it or something?
For me also, Sachin voice is sometimes it's going down and up.
Yeah. I think so.
Now is it okay?
Yeah. Much better.
Okay. Maybe I need to adjust my mic.
Okay. No worries. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sachin.
So
Yeah. Thank you.
others
Yeah.
who are not talking, please go on mute. I mean, just a request. Yeah. So the echo will not come. Thank you. Okay, Karthik. Let me just come again on this. Myself is Sachin Davre. I'm basically based out of Mumbai and work in UAE predominantly. I have a 20 years of experience down the line in SAP. And currently I'm holding a position as a delivery lead or delivery manager for multiple accounts in the same company. Okay, the purpose of mine to join this group to understand and get the knowledge of SAP TMS as a total whole together as a core, and utilize this knowledge into my day-to-day biddings and client communication and getting the client confidence, and to enhance my teams, whoever is my team consultants, our consultants, to get it get going and spread my knowledge to them, so that we do have a good strength of TMS altogether.
That's nice, Sachin. That's a good thing. Yeah, great.
Appreciate
Looking forward for that. Yeah, great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Lena.
Hi everyone, this is Lena. My major experience is on to supply chain management, more on the business side as a business consultant. But since 1.5 years, I've been working for SAP. So I've been managing both major part of SD, a little part of MM. I'm not into a TM, so I just wanted to get into the TM module. So that's about me.
Excellent. Welcome, Lena. So good. Thanks. You're welcome. And next is Krishna.
Good evening, Karthik.
Hi,
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Krishna. My domain is completely different compared to others. So I'm into US recruitment. I'm working as a talent acquisition lead here in RTS, so Result X Solutions. So it's completely night shift. So I just want to move from a night shift to day. So I checked with one of my friend. He suggested me this Naveen, so that I did join here.
So you might be required for others also now. So good.
Thank you.
All right. Good. Good to have you. And Syed.
Consult.
Hi,
So I
Syed.
just want to add a TM and then to my profile just to work as a EWM as well as TM consultant. That is my goal.
Good. Great. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Welcome on. Welcome to the team. Raj.
Good evening, good morning, everybody. This is Raj. Actually, I'm a SAP supply chain consultant having 15 years of experience. I'm looking forward to learn transportation module. It's an add-on to me. So just I would like to know.
That's great. Since you said good morning, are you from US or?
Yes.
Okay, that rings the bell. Okay, great. Thanks. Welcome to the team. All right. Okay, great. Sandeep.
Hi Karthik, this is Sandeep. I'm coming from procurement background. So overall 6 years of experience I'm having. So for one of the project I have worked for the TM, but for short duration. So I'm very keen to learn TM to part.
Excellent. Excellent. Great. Great. I think it's a great team today we have, so that's great. So first of all, on behalf of Naveen, I thank you all for choosing our knowledge sharing session on the SAP TM. That's good. I believe you have taken a very good decision of learning a very good niche skill in the market, along with of course, there are various niche skills which are needed right now in the market. One of them is TM, and there are a few other things which is like an EWM and then so on. I think it's a good one. So before I get started, let me reintroduce myself again. My name is Karthik. I carry about 21 year of experience as of now, and with that 11 years I'm into SAP TM, and I would say that SAP TM, EWM, yard logistics, even management, of course, with LBN. We used to call LBN, and then now it has become as BN4L, which we call them as a supplier connect or supplier portal or whatever we talk about. So that is how it has been emerged. So if you look at it, where I come from, as Lena was saying, right? Lena, you were saying that you're from a supply chain management consultant, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I also come from an SCM background, where I started my career as a technical guy, and then I moved to the ladder as into SD, MM, then WM, and then LETRA, whatnot. Of course, I breathe in, breathe out of an SAP. That's how I've been into it. Of course, I worked with various countries. Of course, basically from India. Then I moved to US. Then I lived in US for quite some time, and then I moved to Canada. Then I came to Germany, and then I went to Singapore, and then now I'm in Europe again. So if you look at it, I traveled across the countries. Of course, I worked with various domain. Where with high tech industries. And then manufacturing, and then pharma. You can count it. You can count it. Which are the domains which I worked in? You can count it. And what I'm going to do is we do not take this as a kind of a teaching kind of environment. It's more of I call them as a knowledge sharing. And the bit of background how me and Naveen acquainted on this kind of an activity is that I found Naveen seems to be a very reasonable professional. Number one. Number two, I do not do any training other than Naveen. That's my disclaimer here. Number three, I found Naveen being professional is one thing. He always support the students. Number four, he gives a good environment for you to work on, and he do have a technical experts to solve any kind of a problem you're getting into the system. So if you ask me, almost 7-8 years, me and Naveen are working on it. And of course, I met him as a vendor. Then I joined him to do this kind of a course training and so on. He's a very good gentleman. You can trust him on it. And how we are going to do these classes is like on a weekday. We are going to do it like Monday to Friday. We are trying to do the classes on the same time between 9 to 10. We'll keep it for 1 hour for a couple of days. And then once you get used to it, once you get used to what you're doing it, and once you know all the terminologies, because in our group we do have a different various sectors people, right? So we need to come on the same board, so that we can travel very fast. So what we will try to do is we'll try to bring everybody on the same page for some time. And yes, Raj.
Yeah. Is it a 9 to 10 EST or IST?
9 to 10 IST, Indian Standard Time.
Okay.
The same time what you're doing it now.
Because we are working on US time zone, right? So it might be a difficult situation for us.
Maybe you can touch base with Naveen, and you can able to come to an agreement. Is that okay, Raj?
Yeah.
I missed out. What's the issue?
Raj, you can raise the question here. I think Naveen is asking you what was the
Hey Naveen, as I spoke, right? Like I'm from US. Maybe I will be in meeting or something like that. So it's a kind of duty time for me, right? So I cannot join this call. Even most, yeah, that's what you can. Maybe you need to. Is it okay, or maybe you can take an agreement of all the candidates so that.
For this batch, it's not possible. I'll plan a separate batch. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Lina.
Actually, I am also in US, so
okay.
I have the same thing.
Okay, so Lina is also from US. Okay. All right, we will make it up. We'll see to it how to organize it. So you guys, if you want accommodated, you want a bit late or a bit early?
Yeah, I think bit late would be fine because
late is like right now you're in EST time zone. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm in EST.
Okay, if it is a EST, I believe you are right now. You are in 10:30 or 10:45, right? Sorry, 9:45.
11:40.
Right, 11:40. But if you go very delayed, right, it will be difficult, right? Again, still
No,
you'll be working day for
evening would be fine. That means you were early morning time.
That I think others are from India, right?
Yeah. But then also it's early morning, right? So
no, people are from India as well.
Yeah, that's what early morning EST, IST would be good for them.
Let us, Naveen, you can take that.
That is midnight for Karthik.
Even my friend Sandeep also joined here. He also from India, but he wanted early morning. Sandeep, can you raise your hand?
So probably Naveen, you want to take this offline or how is it?
Yeah, we'll take it offline.
That's better.
Oh yeah, we'll speak offline and we will see to it. So by the way, other than you both, everybody are from India. Is that correct?
Yeah, even Sandeep he wanted in the evening or early
No.
morning.
Where is Sandeep is from? Sandeep is from India or?
He's from Hyderabad.
Okay, he's from Hyderabad. Okay, so basically, out of you two, Poonam, you have question?
Karthik, I am from Germany.
Oh, you're on Europe time zone, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Poonam is from Europe. Okay, very good. So, okay, I'm just making a note of it so that I know that what is the time zone we are going to work on it. So you're in Europe means your local time would be 5:51, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the same time zone of mine. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, makes sense. And who raised the hand now? Poonam did it, and then Sachin, you also raised a hand.
Yes, I think for me, it's this time is okay, perfect suit for me at the evening time.
And you are in India, right?
Yeah, right now in Mumbai, so this time is perfect for me.
Okay, Mumbai. Okay, India time zone. Okay, then who else? And Sandeep, you also raised your hand now.
Yeah, I'm actually working for US clients, so mostly I'll be having calls.
Okay, so you will be having a time. Okay, so you also you are considered to be in US time zone. Is that correct?
Yeah, US time zone.
Okay, time zone. Okay. And how about Krishna, Syed? You both are in India time zone. Ruchita, you're
Yes,
also in.
I'm from India.
Yes, Karthik. Yeah.
So I confirm Ruchita is in India time zone, IST, and Krishna is also in IST time zone, and Syed is also in IST time zone. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Karthik.
Okay, perfect. Makes sense. Like we'll take it offline and we will work it out. Which is the common time, and then we will. But there should be, if at all we are accommodating it right, for the US folks, like you need to adjust a bit here and there because of time difference and so on. So try to accommodate a bit. If at all we come with some kind of.
Yeah, I agree with you, Karthik. Karthik, sometimes we may go to office. Okay.
No. I completely align with you.
Because there's a hybrid now. Earlier we used to have remote sessions. Now it's all messed up. Yeah.
No worries, no worries. We'll plan accordingly, and we'll see to it how to make everybody properly adjusted. All right. All right. So let's get started now. Okay. So yeah, Naveen, you're trying to say something?
No, God, you can go ahead. Okay, I'll discuss finally with them.
Okay. That makes better. All right. So I believe you can raise your. I mean, you can lower your hands if it is okay with you all. So I know that you're not raising any more questions. So all right. Now going forward, what we are going to do is the following. Number one, as I said, it's going to be an hour, which is going to be 55 minutes to an hour. We will keep it that way so that your focus. I know that more than 45 minutes you cannot focus more. So let's keep it for an hour. Since we are going to run from Monday to Friday, we will try to do it. And for your information, tomorrow I'm on a travel, so tomorrow we won't have any session. If at all we do have it, so what we can do is tomorrow Naveen can step in and he can able to plan along with you on the time and everything, and he can come back and formalize it. So tomorrow we will take a time to make sure that we are streamlining on the timing and so on. So that way we can facilitate that. And from Thursday, Friday, we will do it as it is, and then we'll resume from Monday. Okay. So let me try to share my screen first. Let me. Um, so let me do this here.
Hey, Karthik, quick
Yeah.
question. How many days it is going to be? How many hours it is going to be?
It's as I said during the demo session, it's a minimum 40 hours. I'm not giving a cap of a maximum. I'm giving a minimum of 40 hours. And when we designing a scenario, and as I said, TM is not a small topic or a small module or a simple module. It's a kind of a vast module. We have about 3 scenarios, and we need to spread across LSPs and shipper scenario. And the same time, we need to go through an end-to-end. So 40 is a bare minimum which I have planned, and I'll promise you that 40 hours is a bare minimum, but we will go up to 50, the max.
Okay, you will be covering all real-time
I need to
scenarios.
cover, I need to cover, because I said, cutting off through is not a good way of doing it. So if I take something, it should be completely aligned, right?
Thank you. Yeah, I don't want to disturb you anymore.
No, not at all. It's good to see we are taking today as a kind of a more of a clarification today, so that we are all aligned. In case if you do have any questions, you can go back, think about yourself, and then you can come back with any kind of concerns or something, right? So yes, Krishna, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Karthik. See, I
No.
don't have any either technical or functional background at all. As I said earlier, I'm into talent acquisition. I don't have any experience at all. So, will that be okay to learn SAP TM? So, could you please let me know?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I'm not doing any marketing here. Number one. So number two, the passion to learn is the key actually. So I believe you already have that passion. So the driving factor is the market is also hot, right? So between others, I'm just comparing between the person who do know SAP beforehand and coming for a TM class, and about you might need to put an additional effort. Say for example, offline I can give you some kind of an input saying that okay, Krishna, you have to go and read this material and start working on it. If the whole group is going to start about a month from now on the system, you might need to start from today. That's the difference. And you need to pop up very quickly saying that okay, what I'm going to do it, how am I going to work on it, and what is an SAP, and so on. You need to learn a bit here and there, and you need to have more of a dedicated, people here are spending 2 hours on their personal time. You might need to spend 3 hours or 4 hours, so additional effort is required, because that way you can come to the speed of them. And bottom line, as I said, I'll try to bring you also along with the team, so that you will be on the same page. So that's the reason, when I start working on it, I will start from the basics, not only for you, for the whole team, so that everybody will be on the same kind of an environment. Krishna.
Thank you, Karthik.
You're welcome. But your effort is, I know that you started a good thing, but all I need to ask you is like put some additional effort so that you will reap the benefits. Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
I. Yeah, no worries. Yes, I.
Yes, Karthik. So are we going to cover all 4 scenarios or only 3?
No, I mean, we have, see, if you look at it, the scenarios, what we are looking at is a freight order and a freight booking. I know that I'm going a bit technical here, but what I
No,
meant to say is,
no.
what are
Sorry, I
the,
think my question was, let me rephrase. I mean to say about the road, rail, airport, and ocean.
that's what I'm
Mm.
coming to. That's what I'm coming to.
Oh, okay, fine, fine.
You have freight order and freight bookings. Road and rail covers in freight order, and freight bookings covers in air and ocean. So if you look at it, we will be emphasizing on road more, and I will be telling the key points what you need to take it in the rail perspective, so that it is easy for you to do it. When you come into freight bookings, we will be concentrating on ocean, and I will tell you how you will be equipped with the air, because air is massive. So what I will do is I'll cover you which are the areas you need to do it in air. The reason behind of air, I'm giving you a bit of an information, and what you need to learn is because primarily air is being modeled very low in terms of TM, whereas road, rail, and ocean are the primary scenarios which are getting worked out in real time. As of I know, if at all you do have some scenarios which are coming through, you can ask question, we can model them. But currently, we will differentiate in this way, and we will model the scenarios that way.
So road and rail, or ocean will be focusing with the sun.
And of course, air we will get into it, but the
Hmm.
screens are very massive. The screens are very massive.
Okay.
I tell you the important fields which you need to really look around for it. If at all you get into an air scenario, it will not be a surprise for you.
Okay.
Great. All right. So, any more questions from anyone? All right. So I'll share my screen here. Raj is asking a question saying that, are you going to bring up 1 minute? Where is it? Are you going bring up the team into a WhatsApp group to leverage the day-to-day tasks and issues? I believe Naveen would form.
Yeah. We'll create a group. Okay. Yeah. Not a problem.
Okay, so I don't do it. All the administrative things, Naveen will take care of it in terms of recordings, in terms of uploading the
See,
notes.
actually, we have an app. Okay. So through that, you can chat with the trainer also. Okay. So instead of WhatsApp, we are using that actually. In the app itself, you can communicate. Okay.
So hope that clarifies your question, right? Okay, great. So now I know. Good. So you're able to see my screen, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So as we said, we will make it as like Monday to Friday. We will keep it for we'll keep it for 60 minutes. We'll keep it for 55 minutes, and then we will extend it once we get a kind of a good hold of it. That we will be okay. So now what the yes, I.
No. Sorry, guys. It was there. I think. I just remember.
Okay.
Nothing.
No problem. So then what we will do is since we are only focusing on 55 minutes, to the course on a daily basis. So what I'm suggesting is we will park all our questions, to the end of the sessions, where we will give a 10 minutes review sessions, for any questions that come in. That doesn't mean that you should not raise a question. You do raise a question, and if you feel that you're in the moment of you're in the urge of putting something, make use of the chat. Make use of the chat and then put your questions, and then we can start reviewing it. and hold your questions for the last 10 minutes so that we can review them. This way, what will happen is the continuity doesn't go away. I don't mind answering your question, but unfortunately, what happens is if I start breaking somewhere and if I start explaining you on that, if I get deviated to towards your question, the whole objective of going towards the syllabus would get deviated. So let's keep that for a moment, and we can park the questions, right? So that's my humble request. Okay, and I will say that less of PPT. There will be a less of PPT, but for sure, what we are going to do is we will have a daily plan. We will have a daily plan of saying that what is that we are going to achieve on that particular 55 minutes on that particular day. And there is a high possibility that we might not cover the entire daily plan, what we are trying to do it. We will be very ambitious to do that. If not, we are having it, what we will do is we will carry to the next day, but for sure, between Monday to Friday, we will try to cover that up so that on Friday, if we do see that we are lagging somewhere on the time, we will extend the time a bit and then we will try to cover that so that the daily plan will go as a weekly plan and we will complete that weekly plan on that Friday so that we are good for it. If at all something goes wrong, we couldn't be able to complete, I will request you to join on a weekend for 1 hour or 2 hours to cover on that particular week so that the weekly plan gets completed so you can start practicing your stuff. All right, so that's my target on it. Okay, daily plan towards the weekly plan. So if at all it comes in, I will not be too ambitious to complete it. I won't rush the contents, but I will try to ensure that we are covering it up the way how you are going to do it. Okay. So then what I will be doing is I will be modeling the scenarios. Modeling the scenarios in the sense like, I will be taking only the scenarios which are relevant to the life. I mean, with all these whole 10, 11 years which I spent on the TM, I will be picking up some of the examples which I have learned and I will model them as a group together and we will form a model company. We will form a model company, and with that model company, we will try to model the scenarios. That way, what will happen is tomorrow when you are approaching your customer or your client, or for God's willing, you are raising your CV to your employee, somebody, you're searching for a job or something, when you speak to them, you will have a kind of an idea of what you need to tell them, how you need to approach them, and how you need to speak with them with the kind of a modeling scenarios what you're having in place, right? So objective is that, right? So that's where we will do it, and then what we will do is like you will be getting your system access. You will be getting the system access, and from the system access you can start working on it, right? So when you do an end-to-end scenarios, what is it we need to cover? First, on the sales side of it, we will be covering it. On the purchasing side, we will be covering it. These are the two primary scenarios, right? In that sales scenario, we will be having our outbound delivery, and then from a purchasing order side, we will be having an inbound delivery. Right? So in the purchasing, what is it going to happen here is like in the purchasing, normally you will have a kind of an environment where you will be raising a general purchase order. It's a general purchase order. I'm giving a purchase ordering type for now, but don't worry about it. We'll be discussing in detail. Krishna, just follow Krishna. Don't worry about these terminologies and everything. Rest assured, I'll give you some kind of
Thank you.
Anything. So then you will have something called a stock transfer order. We call them as an STO. We will have a stock transfer order. This is also a bit related to things. And when you do this one, right? When you do this, there are a few things which we need to take it, which we call them as a UB normally. So what we will try to do is we will try to see, or I will try to give you an input of when you trying to implement an TM for your vendors, where you are trying to do it, what is it you need to consider here? We will try to talk about here. And then when we are talking about an outbound delivery, right? Then we will be calling a normal sales order. normal sales order. Then you'll have a customer returns. Customer returns also will be there, and that's all. From there, you'll be having an outbound delivery. And here you can also need, we'll also say vendor return. What happens to vendor return? So the good thing about is, if you catch hold of any one of the scenarios, the rest of the scenarios are going to be interesting. But obviously, you need to have your sales order to be integrated, your outbound delivery to be integrated, and then you need to also have your purchasing. We call them as a purchase orders. Purchasing, we keep it purchasing. This also need to be done, and then here. All right, these are the TM integrations, right? We will be doing the TM integrations of it, which we'll be talking more of it. So this is how we are going to talk about an end-to-end scenario. Now, on this, what we are going to do is, now on this thing, we are going to talk about something called integration scenarios, right? What I will do is I'll write down the integration scenarios, and on side of it I will tell you that whether it is going to be a theoretical or it's going to be a practical approach of it. Okay. So now, first and foremost, what we will be talking about EWM integration. This is going to be a practical scenario. This is going to be a practical scenario. Then we have something called event management, right? Event management is going to be a simulated environment. When I say simulated, we will tell you what it's going to happen. Okay. GTS integration, right? GTS partially practical and partially simulated. The reason is, we are working to get the GTS environment ready within our ExpertSoft. If at all we do get GTS, we will try to implement that within the time we are trying to have it. If not, I will give you a simulated environment. All right. Then we will have a DG, dangerous goods, right? This is going to be practical. And of course, I will give you how other integration works. Okay, other integration work, both integrations, both inbound and outbound. Okay, this also we will speak about it. This is more of a simulated environment only, because I can only show you a simulated environment, and I will tell you what need to be done, what is the T codes you need to use it, which screen you need to go in, and so on. I'll tell you. So that way you will be covering the preliminary things of it. And finally, we are having something called a LBN / we are going to have BN4L, right? This is primarily going to be a simulated environment. If at all you are subscribing or if you are interested, you can reach out to Naveen, and there is a wonderful tutor who is teaching B4NL, and they do have a cloud environment connected. So probably once you get completed this course, you can reach ExpertSoft and Naveen, and he will put you into a beautiful course where there is an integration that's happening on the B4NL, and he's a very good tutor, and he's coming from a very reputed concern, and he will help you out to learn B4NL. All right. But I will give you a simulated environment that with that knowledge, you can go to him for a detailed practical sessions on the B4NL. Because our primary objective for this particular knowledge transfer course is to have a TM completed. All right. So with this, any questions before we get in? Is that something which is meeting your expectation? Yes, Ayed.
Yes, Karthi, one thing in integration, can we cover this yard logistic simulation at least?
Okay, I can put it there. Yeah, but only thing is, yeah, I'll keep it here, and I'll mark it here for now, and then we will see to it. Huh?
Okay. And another point, Karthik, this regarding this, initial setup of the system and all. For example, embedded TM is there. Okay, in that case, when we get a raw system, how do we, start with best practices, or is there any other way of BC sets?
That we
So
will cover.
that would be would be helpful for us
Yeah,
because
that will come as an initial way when I'm trying to explain, right? That will cover that.
okay.
That should not be a problem.
Then it's fine. Okay. Thank you very much.
No problem. Anytime. Yeah, somebody raised it. I think I don't see them here. Is it Sachin? Is it? Yeah, Sachin.
Yes, Karthik, one quick query about these end-to-end scenarios. Are these scenarios applicable in both the cases, LSP as well as shipper?
Yep.
All right.
That's where when I said other integrations, right, inbound and outbound, right, this covers your LSPs.
Okay.
And from there it automatically comes into your normal way of your what do you call it, the shipper scenario as well. And we will be covering these two in detail.
Okay.
Yeah.
So above end-to-end scenario, just to my understanding, the above end-to-end scenarios, we are working from the shipper point of view, which is covering.
Yeah, I will do this way.
Okay. So first we will understand it end-to-end scenarios from the shipper perspective.
Yeah, I will do
then.
This.
Okay.
I'll do this way so that it is easy for you.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it.
No. Annual scenarios and then LSP scenarios. So now what we will do is in this shipper scenario, we will bring everything here. Then what we do in the LSP scenarios.
I don't know, but your screen.
Oh, I think it got disconnected and joined. I'm sharing it now.
No problem. Thank you.
No worries. So here we will be doing LSP scenarios. Orders. All right. This will cover for you. Is that visible?
Great. Yes, great. Thank you.
No problem. So hopefully this helps you. Is everybody in line? I think somebody other than Sachin, somebody is raising a hand. If I missed it.
Yeah, Karthik.
Yes, Sandeep.
Yeah, when you're talking about integration scenarios, so we'll be covering the integration with the third-party support also, right? Like for example, carrier. Like once we've done the carrier confirmation, like those details will be sent to the carrier. To I think like in our present project, like they are using web services.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
So those kind of once they confirm it, they will be confirming the dates, carrier dates, vessel
That is
dates.
all getting into the details, Sandeep. Actually, what we will do is, that's the reason I use the word called other integration, because if I start listing it down, it will become more lengthy. So as it comes, right, when we speak about our, let's say, for example, as you rightly said, it's called a 3PL integration normally. When you are working as a freight forward, you'll be integrating with a freight forwarders like Transporian or any kind of a third party whom you are going to negotiate with the rates and so on. That will become a 3PL integration. That we will be discussing it as a simulated environment.
And part of architect also will be considered like BOBT.
That is for you to understand the technicalities of how the data structures are being defined. That is part and parcel of it. We decided if I want to show you how to map it, how to find the fields and all, right, this year, right? If I want to tell you the other integration, I need to explain you what is the BOBT is all about, BOBF is all about, and what is S proxy and so on. Then I need to tell you. From there, you need.
Yeah, from my point, I'm expecting like from functional, like whenever there's a status, workaround, we'll be using BOBT, right, for updating the
BOBT. BOBT is not for updating anything. In fact, we people have changed it in a bit. BOBT is a test environment, basically to understand how the data is being fit into the data structure. So BOBT will allow you to go and find the information in the structures how it is being kept. What we went one ahead, like we started editing and modifying it directly. You getting my point, right? Even
yes.
most of the cases on the freight settlement cases, when the statuses are not correct, we are entitled to change them, but it is not recommended. But I will tell you that, but that's not a good practice to do that.
Yeah, but just want to understand node perspective from TM side also.
Good. No worries. But whatever I'm aware of it, I will explain that. Should not be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes, who else raised the hand? Because I cannot see them because of my notepad is stopping me here.
Yeah, Karthik.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this is Uchita.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, will you able to cover external fleet and internal fleet also?
Can you give me an example when you say external fleet and internal fleet? For me, external fleet and internal fleet, what you're talking about is, if I'm being a shipper, if I own my resources, it's an internal fleet for me. If I do not own the resources, I'm banking on somebody in like freight forwarders. That's an external fleet for me. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Okay, that's for sure. Yes.
Okay,
Is that what you're referring, by the way?
Okay, yeah, that BOBT something we have discussed it right now.
Yeah.
That comes under configuration or?
No. It's a T code.
Okay. Yeah,
It's a T code. It's a T code where, I mean, of course, it's too early to talk about it, but it's one of a T code to find out, how your data is being fit into the system. Normally, what happens, you cannot directly query the system. The data structure in TM and EWM are little tricky. They are using the object oriented way of doing it, and it's querying the table is not that easy. You need to go through your DB key and other GUIDs and so on. So since you cannot able to query them directly, they have given you a provision called BOBT, where you can go and find out for that particular data which are the information that have been filled into the data structures, to quickly have a view of it.
Okay.
At a given point of time, you can only query one data. You're getting my point, right? So
yeah.
Just for your debugging purpose.
Okay.
Which we'll be learning it. Don't worry.
Okay, Karthik. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. And there's a message. Okay. Satya. Hi, Satya. Welcome to the team. If you're speaking, you're on mute. All right. No worries. We can speak at the last. No, we will.
I was on mute. Sorry.
Yeah, Satya. Yeah.
Thanks, Karthik, for adding.
No problem. Yeah, Satya, if you can just share one or two lines to the team, so that then we can spend some time at the last.
Sure. So I am working as a EWM consultant, and current my role is like enterprise architect.
Okay.
So I worked on technical modules and then functional various modules, and we talk about the next steps.
Very good. And your place, you're located in?
I'm from California.
So you're also from US, right?
Yes.
But you're on a PST time zone.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So thanks, Satya. Welcome to this. Okay. So with this, and any more questions on this, friends? Like, do you have any other questions? Is it something which is meeting your your requirement? Is that something which this is what you looked at it, or it is too detailed for you, or it's too much for you?
So, Karthi, will you be covering LBN as well in this module?
I mean, I will explain what is an LBN and so on. And as I said to the team, there is a special course which has been done by one of the finest tutor, and Naveen is helping them to organize it. So there is a course already running in. Probably, if you are very much interested in knowing about LBN and BN4L, he will help you out. But I will tell you how it's getting simulated, how it is getting updated, and so on, and what is the use of using our LBN and so on.
To integrate with the FedEx, UPS, like external carriers, and to get the real-time price for the
That's called a DSO. That's called a DSO scenario that we will be integrating through our web services, that we will be covering as a part of the parcel packages. This is a separate thing, which is primarily where you will be having a long-term planning, right? That way, where you need to do a planning, where you need to have your agreements and so on, and then you will have your settlement document. That way, we'll be using the LBN scenario.
Yeah.
Because whenever you go with the parcel scenarios, it's a pretty straightforward. All you need to do is directly talk to the FedEx or DHL, or for a matter of fact, any parcel services, and it's built accordingly, right? So you don't need to really do a planning. So that's a DSO scenario altogether. So we don't need to worry about it. Whereas on a overall, any company which you take it, they will be having, sometimes they have a parcel scenarios. A majority of them, they do have a long-term planning and a freight management, So that's how we will be covering as well. All right. So then probably I'll if there are no more questions, then probably I'll wind up for today. And this is going to be our objective. And one final thing, this particular notepad, right? The notepad is our Bible going forward. Every day we will be creating one notepad, one new notepad session, and these notepads will be shared to your folders where you can able to access them. That will be uploaded by Naveen on every day, or if I miss it on the day basis, the next day it should be available for you. All right. Is that all good?
Thank you, Karthik.
Yeah, great. And then thank you all, and we will meet on Thursday. Tomorrow, kindly make time with Naveen, and make sure that we are ensuring that your timing concerns are all been addressed. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good evening. Yeah.
I think Karthik, Sachin here. Maybe
Yes.
we can have a quick recap of what we discussed the last day. That will be good start.
Yeah, it can be, but it will be very lengthy, right?
No, it's not lengthy. I mean, I don't want every point to be covered one again, but just an overview of that. Okay, last day, yesterday, we covered this. Now we are moving on this. That's
Okay.
if or everyone is okay, I'm okay with that. So
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we'll try to make it, we'll do it in 5 minutes. So let me see if I can share my screen. 1 second. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen again. Is it visible now? Is it visible?
Yeah, it's
Okay, good. So what we did is like on 6th.
Sorry, Karthik, we lost you as we make you host. Can you hear me?
Now I can able to hear you.
Okay, okay.
What happened?
No. We make you host actually, so that's why it got disconnected.
Okay. Now let me know if you can see my screen now.
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Okay, so I'll rephrase it again. So what we spoke on the 6th, that is on the first day, is like we spoke about how we can proceed with our classes that can be benefit to everyone in terms of like what would be our model, how we are going to have our scenarios, and then where you will get the system access, and if at all you're getting a system access, what you can do on it. Of course, we also spoke about in end-to-end scenarios how we are going to cover. And on that, we spoke about two scenarios, which is nothing but a shipper scenario and your LSP scenario. In that, what are the various aspects of it? I mean, of course, we didn't go in detail. At least we said that we can able to view then what is being shown on your screen. And of course, we also spoke about an integration scenarios in terms of EWM, event management, GTS, dangerous goods, other integration, LB and B4NL, and yard logistics. And I believe the yard logistics are asked by Syed, or I don't know. I'm just recollecting it. But we said we will try to bring it up if at all I do get an access of the system. And if at all we do have it, we will try to bring it up. Okay. So that is what we are trying to cover it up. Okay. So what is that we are going to do today? What is that we are going to do today? So we are going to do basically, I want to explain to you what is this TM is all about. Yeah. So it is going to be 8th of August 2024. Right. So what we understood is like we 5 minutes we will do the 5 minutes we will do the recap. We will do the recap of the previous day. Recap. Okay. Next. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about overall what do you mean by a transportation management system, and how this has been evolving in the real world. So that as a background, because we have a batch where they are all coming from a different background. So I want to set the ground so that we can get started off. All right. So I'm asking to the let's make it interactive. So anyone from our team can tell me about what is your idea or what is your view in terms of transportation management system in general. Don't go into SAP. In general, do you know what is the transportation management system all about? Any volunteers?
yeah, Karthik, can I tell?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, transportation management means we are moving the goods from one location to another location, that is source to destination.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Then?
Like, what is the mode of transport we are using for the goods carrier where we wanted to deliver it to the customer, and how the amount is calculated and all.
Very good. Next.
Yeah, simple
Very good.
terms like door to door and door to port.
Okay, very good. Door to door. Okay.
End-to-end transportation solution.
Door to door. end to end. Then okay, very good. Then okay, these are all
Yeah,
good.
I think the main motive of this definitely it's a source to destination controlling, monitoring, and happening of the transport of the goods and whatever the materials is that. That's one. The other side of this is
Sorry, we lost you.
is the
Your voice is jarring. Is it only for me or for everyone?
No, it's for me as well. I'm not
Yeah.
getting.
Yeah. Can you repeat that again? For I think it's Sachin, right?
We lost him, I think.
Okay, we'll wait for him to come back. Anything else? Okay, very good. So he's trying to say something on it. Okay. Anybody? Anyone in our team?
I think your voice is breaking. I'm not getting everything what you are saying.
My voice is also jarring, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on a. I
There is
think
a lag in the system.
I'm also in a good network. Okay. Is it still the same?
No, right now it seems to be okay, but as
Okay.
you, yeah.
Okay. Now maybe I think I need to tell to Naveen to switch to Teams or something, but that's fine. You know, we'll figure it out. Okay. Now is it clear, right?
Yes, Karthik.
Okay. Very good. So anyone can comment on it other than the above?
Reduce
These are
operational and transportation management costs by using this. We can.
okay. Somebody said cost. Who's that?
Sandeep.
Sandeep. Okay. Yes. Cost. Very good. You touched the good point here, which is called cost. All right. Very good. Then any okay. Good. Now, if you look into the transportation management, transportation management is normally what happens is in any company, like any company you take in a whole world, you can differentiate the business of transportation into two aspects of it. How? Number one is that whenever you are doing any kind of a transportation management in the real world, one, you will be doing a transportation for yourself, assuming that you are running a business. Number two, you will be running the transportation business for others. So when you run your transportation for yourself, that is so called as a manufacturing scenario or a shipper scenario. When you run a transportation, yes, Poonam?
Yeah, I'm not able to hear you clearly. Every time you speak, the voice starts cracking.
Is that for everyone or how is that? Is it true for everyone?
No, we can hear you clear.
Okay.
I can hear
I
you
think
here.
it is happening, by and large, it's happening for everyone, right? Somewhere or other we are missing it, right? That I escalated to Naveen. Naveen, you are on the call. Just give me 1 minute. I'll call Naveen and I'll tell him right away. 1 minute. Let me call him now. 1 minute.
Who is like anyone is facing the audio issue?
Yeah, just now, Poonam faced it. And then, Sandeep was talking about, Sandeep was saying, sorry, Sachin is saying something and he was lost. So I believe, and, I also heard, bit of a crazy voices,
Yeah. Might be it's from backend, Karthi. Okay, nothing with the meeting end. Is it okay, Sachin? Can you hear us now? Sachin, Poonam.
I can hear right now.
Okay. Yeah, let's see.
As we speak, it's going away, Naveen.
Okay, let's see. If not, we'll use GoToMeeting. Okay. Let's see
No.
if not, we'll use the GoToMeeting. Okay.
No problem. No, I'm just telling you so that on behalf of them. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. So we will continue today, guys, and if it is not getting worked out, we'll shift to GoTo tomorrow. All right. So what I'll try to repeat it again and again so that you won't lose the voice. What I'm saying is, in a real world, as I said, you will be running a transportation business for yourself, or you will be running a transportation business for others. If you run a transportation business for yourself, then it is a shipper scenario. If you are running a transportation business for others, it is so called as a LSP scenario, or a freight forwarder scenario. Is that clear? Now, when I say you will be running a transportation business for yourself. Say, for example, you are a manufacturer. Let's call about a Nestle or any manufacturers, any producers. What they need to do? They will produce the material. The produced material need to move from one location to the other location. It can be their own warehouses or their own plant, or wherever it is, or it can go to the distributors, or it can go to the retailers, or it can go and reach to the end customer. It is the responsibility of the producer to ensure that the material that they produce should reach the end customer. Via some means, it needs to reach to the particular end customer. On the other hand of it, you are running a business for others. Like, you are running the business for others, like FedEx, like DHL, or any kind of a services which you are running for a multiple customers, where you are sitting in between, and you are trying to help them to transport their a kind of the customer's material from one location to the other location. That's called an LSP scenario. That's called a logistic service providing scenario, or providers scenario. So these are the two scenarios which primarily we deal with. And these are the things which we are going to talk about in detail. Just putting a hat of a shipper and putting a hat of a logistic service, a provider. Is that clear, friends? Is that clear? Any question? All right.
Okay, based on process, okay, for LSP, we'll be creating forwarding order, right?
Yeah, that we will be going in detail. Yeah.
Okay, but based on flow, it will be get differ, or for shipper, like end-to-end flow.
Yeah. I want to give you in general. That's the reason I did not take you to any of the system. I'm talking in general how the transportation would work in a real-time environment. Then we will take each of the scenario and try to map it into the system of an SAP. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I just to have something, because I just came in. Okay, now when we are talking more about this shipper scenario and LSP scenario, let me write it down here. Now, as a shipper, okay. Now let's say in Nestle or any kind of Nike or some or we call them as many companies are there out, right? Nestle, Nike or any manufacturing companies, okay? Any manufacturing companies, what would be their objective? What would be the objective? What would be the objective here? You say, for example, you go and buy a Nike shoe from a retailer. What is that? What is their objective is here? What would be the objective here?
Ship on time and
basically they're selling the product. Have you ever seen? Have you ever seen anywhere in the product saying that transportation cost is so much? Have you seen anywhere in the label or in anywhere it has been printed like transportation cost $20? Have you ever seen that in any of the product? No, right? That means the objective is basically what they want to show you is they want to sell you by having a transportation cost always hidden. The transportation cost is always hidden because at any given point of time, your transportation cost will never ever be shown as a separate line item in any of the business, have in terms of manufacturing or in terms of an LSP. So it is always a transportation cost is always hidden, and that's a reason this transportation cost will always be distributed. Cost is distributed. Cost is distributed to your product, to the product. Let me put it this way, to the product. So this is what you need to keep in your mind whenever you're speaking to your customer, whenever you are representing yourself that you're giving a solution to the customer, you need to ensure that the transportation cost will always be hidden, and you need to have a solution that will be distributed to the product. That is where the solution should come in. Tomorrow you should not go and ask them saying that why you are not showing a transportation cost into your product. It is always be there, but it will be observed, and then it will be bringing as an accumulated cost, and it will come as an MRP, regardless of whether you are a manufacturer or you are an LSP, because LSP is also working. Say, for example, Nestle. Nestle is trying to produce a product called A. This A product is being, asked by FedEx. FedEx to give it to the customer. Now what they do, they will add the FedEx cost to this particular product A already, and when the customer receive it, the customer will see only the whole price of it, and they will never see any separate price saying that there is a shipping cost. Subject like Amazon, like Flipkart, they are totally different. They are totally different. They are not a kind of a product business, or they are not a freight forwarder. They are just a distributor. So Amazon, you should not count in it. I know the moment I said the FedEx cost is not being shown separately to the product, that's a different business altogether. I'm not talking about Amazon. I'm not talking about Flipkart. They are totally different. I'm talking about the current situation of a manufacturer and the current situation of an LSP. So you should not combine them. We will come to them. They are the parcel service, but they are doing it again for somewhere for the customer only. Okay, that we will deal separately. Okay. Now, getting into this, what is the benefit what is the benefit they're going to get here is when Nestle, say for example, Nestle will have a multiple products and they will have various warehouses, various plants, various distribution center, various dealerships, various way of selling them, retailers and so on. Now there are multiple ways. What is that? Nestle will have their own resources. When I say own resources, they will have their own trucks. They will lease the they will lease the rail. They will time chart the ocean. They will hire or again rent a plane, cargo plane. These are the major things which they will be doing. When they say they will have their own trucks, they will have 2,000, 3,000 trucks for them for their own purposes. They will lease the rail. They will lease the rail cars for their own use. In North America, it is predominantly you can lease the rail cars, and across the world you can time chart the ships. Or normally I should not use the word called ship. I will use the called vessels. That is like time chart the ocean vessels, hire or rent the cargo planes. So they
Karthik,
can do it.
can you come again on the time charts?
Okay, time chart means leasing the vessel. Say for example, I will have a car. The vessel name is like okay, how the vessel will look like. I'll go here. I will go here and I'll put it like cargo vessels. Okay, so if you look at it, cargo vessels, right? These are the cargo vessels, right? So now what I can do is this will be owned by some owner. As me, as a shipper, as a Nestle, can go and hire. I can contract this vessel on my own. Like the time charter means I will be taking this vessel on my name for a certain period of time. That is what it means as time charting. That I'm using the business language. So you should start using this business language so that when you speak with the customer tomorrow, you will be speaking the business language that will give you an affinity for them to speak with you. So whenever you speak in terms of ocean, whenever your customer is trying to hire, they were trying to take it on a rental basis, we don't say, can I take the vessel on a rental basis? We don't say that word. We say that I'm time charting my ocean vessel. Time charting my vessel. So that's what I use that word here. Okay, is that clear now?
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And then you will have cargo planes. I'll put cargo planes here. Okay, cargo planes. Cargo planes. If you look into the cargo planes, you will have a lot of cargo planes where you will be using it for the purposes of loading all the information. So if you look at it, the name here itself is being by some owner where he will be renting it out. He will be renting it out, this cargo plane, for a particular company or for an individual to transport any kind of an equipment from one place to the other using air. This is also called a cargo plane. And if you look at it, FedEx cargo plane. No, because now if you look at it, FedEx cargo plane. FedEx cargo plane. If you look at it, FedEx cargo plane. FedEx cargo plane, we will go to the images. Okay, we'll go to the. If you look at it, this is FedEx never ever uses anything for a passenger. It is only a cargo. So now if you look at it, these are all FedEx which primarily running within the United States. They are more of a domestic planes, cargo planes, and there are also international shipments which will be carried by the FedEx, where they will be flying internationally to carry the packages, right? So that's where they call in international shipments and domestic shipments. All right. So they will be doing it across the world. Similarly, we also have a DHL, DHL cargo planes. We will also have a DHL cargo planes. They also primarily DHL and FedEx are the primary, how do I call it, as the LSPs. Primarily, they are working on it. And then we have something called USPS, which is nothing but your United Postal Services. Normally, United Postal Services do within the United States, and they do it with government basis. And then you have something called UPS, and then you have something called UPS. UPS is also one of the shipment that is happening in North America. I'm taking more of a North America because that's where primarily all these activities are happening. And if at all, if you remember, somebody was asking me about the scenario. Even I told you that, hey guys, I will be talking about freight order, freight booking. In the freight booking, I will be showing primarily on ocean, but I'll run through on the air scenario, right? Because North America predominantly using an air, and but that predominantly used air is within the LSP side of it. So you might not be really working hard on the air scenario, and very rarely you will be working on an air, but you should know about it, right? Because these are all not running in SAP; they are running it on an homegrown applications. Because even for DHL, I did the POCs for the command centers and everything, and DHL, no, sorry, the solutioning which they're expecting it, we could not able to deliver because their expectations was too much, and SAP could not able to really leverage on it. Okay, that I need to admit. So keeping that, this is how it is coming in. Now, if you come into the leasing of the rail cars, then we will be talking about rail cars, cargo. Okay, the rail cars, cargo. Now, if you go to the images, rail cargo, so you need to know about it. This rail cargos. This rail cargo is predominantly used for transporting like a coal, liquid, any kind of a material which you want to transport, you can able to transport to them. And there are various model. If you look at it, the various ways, these are the various ways of bringing your cargo. This is the one blue color container kind of. This is an ISO container which is carrying for a liquid which can be flammable or inflammable also. It can also have a crude oils. Predominantly it will be used in your we call them an oil and gas environment. You'll be carrying crude oils, you'll be carrying cement, you'll be carrying coal, you will be carrying open sand. You will be carrying many things. That's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is the rail car can also have a container. It will have a container also. So there will be a flat bed rail cars. On top of it, you will be putting a container, and this container will be shipped from one place to the other. This is a very big business across Europe and United States, because rail is a big business across North America, and it cut across Canada. And you will be talking about, we'll be talking about Rule 11 and everything, that is very, very important, which we will be diving deep into it when we dive into that particular scenario. Now, I wanted to give you a background of what we are going to discuss about it and why we are discussing about it and so on, right? And rail cargoes. Now, we will be talking about trucks, trucks. If you look into it, various trucks will be there. I'll put it cargo trucks. Okay, that will give you a Cargo trucks. Okay. Now, if you go to the cargo trucks, we will have a different ways of cargo trucks. You ask me, we can talk about the cargo trucks. Okay. We'll go to the images. We will see here. See, you will have various size of cargo trucks, and you will have, when you see this kind of a truck, right? Keep in mind, we will be discussing it more in detail tomorrow, where we will be speaking something called axle. We'll be talking about an axle. Okay, so I'll show you that also. When you go to your resources, okay. When you go to your resources, logistics, transportation management, so master data. And if you go to the resources, if you go here, let's say if there is any resources are there, yeah, we will bring some resources here and we will display here. And if you look at it, see now, if you come in here, you will be seeing a lot of information, right? So in this, we will be talking about capacity, everything we'll be talking about it. And in one point, we will be talking about the real unit of this, and then you will be talking about what is the tire weight and everything. And also, I want to show you this information where I'm looking for number of axle. I'm using here the number of axles that I want to bring it here. Mm-hmm. Number of axles. I want to bring it anyway. What we will be doing is I'll bring you the right information here when we speak. Here, what we will do is we will try to say that how many number of axles I'm having it. I'm having it, and this number of axles will define you what kind of a vehicle are you using it and how efficiently that particular axles will be used. Why I keep referring you to the axle is keeping a kind of a resource. I have a reason why I'm talking about this, because when we speak about an axle, if you have an axle based vehicle, it is one of the expensive vehicle you're having it at your place. And if it is having one axle, two axle, three axle, four axle, or in terms which we call them as a multi-axle vehicle, that means they are pretty expensive. Why it is expensive is because they will be carrying a windmill cargo truck with axle. Now, if you look at it, see, it's carrying a windmill. It's carrying a blade. Now, when it is carrying a blade, it cannot just like that it can carry, because if it is turning here somewhere, this particular thing, cannot turn, he will be taking a very steep turn, So if you look at it, see, it will have at least four axles here. It will have a four axle. And how many tires they do have it. And if you think about it, this will not be there with all the companies. There are only a specific companies who do supply these kind of trucks across the countries. We even back in India, if you look into the south of it, there will be, when you're traveling south of India, you will be seeing a lot of vehicles parked on the left hand side during the daytime, and they will try to travel, when the traffic was a little slow, because they will be traveling 10 kilometers or 11 kilometers, maximum 20 kilometers per hour, because they cannot go much faster. So they need more patience, they are expensive, and top of it, they will be traveling on a very expensive vehicle. So you need to have various classifications of these kind of trucks which you're going to use it. And when you look into this kind of a transportation, what you're looking at is, this is not a normal way of transporting it. it is called a project cargo. It is called a project cargo, or it's an odd sized cargo. Sometimes they may not use the right terminology of, say, project cargo. Tomorrow your customer would come and say that we are transporting an odd sized cargo. What is that your solution you're trying to provide? That time you should not go and Google them. You should come immediately. You should know that, oh, these people are not talking about a normal way of doing it. They have some kind of an odd size shipment and they're trying to ship it. So that means we need to have a specific and a special required a vehicle that needs to be used for transportation. Is that clear? Hmm? All right. Now, what we spoke about is like, owned resources, trucks, lease the rail, time charge that vessels, cargo planes. This is all fine. Now, but on the flip side of it, being Nestle, owning this is going to be pretty expensive for them because it is a overhead cost for them. It is a overhead cost for them. So normally what they do, they will come in between instead of having their resources or partial resources. What they will do is they will say, I will give my transportation to do the shipments. So that's where your truck vendors and then rail cars, the vessel owners like, OOCL. You heard about OOCL? OOCL is one of the this is one of the largest shipment company who ships containers from one place to the other using their services. All you need to do is give them the container and they will collect on behalf of you, and they will try to transport from your location to your other location like this. Now, what it means to is we are introducing one more terminology called, what is that called? LCL and FCL. And we will be introducing one thing called LTL and FTL. What do you mean by LTL and what do you mean by an FTL? In a normal scenario of it, if say for example, if I say for example, if I am a Nestle owner, I'm a Nestle owner and I'm running a business. Now what happened in my peak season, like, normally my peak season is like, during my winter season where my Christmas are in, or when my any special occasions are coming in. I know that there is going to be a lot of business, so I will be shipping a lot of material. So what I will do is, rather than me sending by a piecemeal, what I will do, I will talk to a vendor and I will tell them that, hey, Mr. Vendor, now you give me one full container. Now you containers, 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 container types. Now, what we will be doing is we will tell them that, give me a different types of, I'll go here with the different containers. Okay. We will go here, container types. Okay. Okay. Now, if you look at it, what they will be asking is, like, say for example, here this is a container. Okay. Now what they will do is, I will give me a container. Now I will load as much as I can to this container. Now you charge me. Now you charge me per container. The per container. That means you will be charging me per container so that I can able to ship as much as container I want, and you will be dedicating that particular container to myself, to only for myself. So that is called an FCL. That is a full container load. That is one concept. The other concept is called a less than container load. What do you mean by less than container load? Now, forget about Nestle for a second. There is a small time kind of a manufacturer. He is manufacturing also the same kind of a material, but his demand in the markets are not that great, but he still ships the material. So, for example, he's doing like 20 cartons, 20 carton boxes. He's doing it 20 carton boxes. So on this 20-footer container, it will be only taking a space of 1/4 of the container. Now, you being the vendor or you being the manufacturer, will you pay for the full container? No, I would not do that. Rather, what I will tell to this particular box owner or the container owner saying that, hey, I'm sending you the 4 carton boxes. You charge me for only for 4 carton boxes. So, in a business language, we call them as a less than container load. So, he will be only billing you for the that particular 4 boxes. Now, there would be a spark that comes into your saying that, hey, Karthi, when somebody is trying to put 4 boxes in a container, what happens to the remaining space? That's where this particular freight forwarder or the vendor, what he will do is he will have a multiple customers like our small time vendor, and he will collect small boxes, and he will consolidate everything together, and he will fill that particular container. And smartly, what he will do, he will go and negotiate with OOCL for this example and say that I am sending you the container. I am sending you the container. Give me the best rate. Now, the business is like that. I will give you here. So if you take an example of an LCL, because the FCL is a straightforward. So what happened? I have a 20-footer container. Now what is going to happen? Vendor, for him is a customer, right? Customer A gives him 4 boxes. Customer B gives him 6 boxes. Assuming that this 20-footer can fit in 15 boxes, okay? 15 boxes. Now, customer 6 for customer C gives him 5 boxes. It's total to 15 boxes. Correct. My maths is correct. Now what he will do here is the trade is like trade is this customer A, customer B, customer C do not know. Okay, now before that, okay, let me say that OOCL is here, and here Karthi is the in between the freight forwarder, and we have these customers. Now what is going to happen is these customers do not know whether I'm sending it by OOCL or I will be sending with the XOL or somebody. All they know is they will have a relationship only with Karthi. When I say relationship, the business relationship with Karthi, and Karthi will have a kind of a business tie-up with OOCL, XOIL, or XYZL or something, right? Now, there will be an agreement by Karthi to OOCL saying that, okay, I will give you the best rate per container. Okay, I'll give you the best rate per container. Per container, I'll give you the best rate. Now, let's say $1,000. $1,000 is my best rate. Now, Karthi, what he will do, he knows that this $1,000 he will be paying to OOCL. Now, Karthi will try to make. I'm just giving an approximately. Try to make $1,500 based on these customers. He will try to split it in terms of 1,500. On top of it, how Karthi will make money is something called a document charges. Okay, document charges. Now, what do you mean by document charges? For any shipment that are getting sent out, or whenever you're trying to do the shipment in terms of your ocean, okay, we call them as a bill of lading. I'm introducing slowly all the terminologies to you guys, okay? Bill of lading, or we call them as BL. Okay. This bill of lading is a instrument, is a key document or a legal document. On top of it, always the ocean bills you per BL document. Per BL document. So this, for an example, per container, this container has as per BL. Okay, per BL. Now what happen is the OCL will charge Karthi a document charge of $100. Okay, they will charge me $100. OCL charges $100, $100 from Karthi. Now what Karthi will do is customer A, he will charge 100. Customer B, he will charge 100. And customer C, he will charge. So what he does, the more number of customers that are coming in trying to fill in this container, in the way of documentation charges, he will start billing them accordingly. And if there is any discount that need to be provided, he will try to trade off on this particular document charges and he will reduce the value, but still he will try to maintain his profit not coming down. So this is how normally any kind of a freight forwarders or a vendors who does business on an LCL, and always the profitable business for these freight forwarders are on an LCL rather than having it in an FCL, because they cannot make more money on the documentation charges and they cannot have more of a miscellaneous charges. What do you mean by miscellaneous charges? They also have something called charges called handling charges. Handling charges. And then they have something called port charges. These are the charges that will be paid one time for the container, but it will be charged accordingly to the customers, however this particular person wants to charge his customers. Because he is not cheating on anybody. Rather, these are the legal charges that needs to be paid by the customer before the containers are loaded and and unloaded. So there will be also something called a loading charges. There will be a loading charges. There will be unloading charges. Okay, then there will be also called storage cost. Storage cost. There will be, custom charges, and so on. Now, if you look at it, these are the charges that will keep accumulating. This will get accumulated in terms of how do you call it? Like per container they will charge it, and these charges will be spread across to the individual customers. That way they make more money. Assuming if it is a full container, what is the money they are going to make it? They will be not making much of a money because it's like per container. You're getting my point, right? Now I have introduced like what these is the charges which you will be seeing it as part of your freight agreements, negotiated rates. This is where you'll be maintaining the rate table. This is where you'll be maintaining the charge items, but now it might not make sense for you, but at least you're trying to learn, you're trying to hear the terminologies of what we are trying to do it. And then we're talking about bill of lading and so on. Now, there will be an interesting question. If not, it doesn't come into your mind. I'm giving you a hint about it. How am I, like, if he is charging me here, if I'm giving the same kind of information to these customers by Karthi, won't they come to see that I'm duplicating it? That's where I will be introducing a word called MBL slash HPL, then MAWB, and then HAWB. MBL is nothing but master bill of lading, and HBL is house bill of lading. Master airway bill, house airway bill. What it means is this OOCL would give Karthi an MBL, saying that the MBL would have all the data that are relevant on that particular vessel, what it is moving, what is the container number, what is the tracking number, everything will be there. Okay. Now, but it will give you a consolidated charges onto it. Now, what this MBL will be converted into an HBL by Karthi as a freight forwarder, and this freight forwarder will only give you an HBL with reference to your MBL. Now, it will have an individual charges. Now, what will happen? One MBL that has been given by OOCL will have 3 HBLs in this context. That means a customer A will say only the HBL will say 4 boxes. Customer B, he will say 6 boxes. Customer C will have say 5 boxes, but it will have the same container number. It will have a same tracking number. It will have a port data. Everything will be there. Sailing date, everything will be there. Only thing is the content, the item would get different. Now, if you look at it, that is the point. That is how they're playing a legal term, saying that because I'm creating an HBL, I am entitled to charge you on the document. This is the business reason or business behind how I can legally charge you, saying that document charges. How can I legally say that I can charge you handling charges? Legally, I say port of charges because I'm giving you a legal document called an HBL, which is nothing but a bill of lading document. So my charges are for HBL in this context. Whereas I am also paying for BL, which is an MBL, to OOCL, telling them that yes, you are legally entitled to do it. Now, he will ensure that he will also have an insurance charges here. You have something called insurance charges here. Now, this insurance charges will also be spread across depends on the value of these 4, 6, and 5 boxes respectively. Now, when I go with the MAWB, HAWB is more relevant to your truck business, or in your air scenario, we will be releasing you a master airway bill number or a HAWB number, or normally in the context of trucks, we will call them as a tracking number, which we can able to create it accordingly. Is this something clear? Any questions? Is it too much for you guys to digest?
Karthik, I have a question here.
Yes, please.
Yeah, as you said that OOCL will give a MBL, right? But
Yes.
it will give MBL for like 15 boxes. When we convert this MBL to HBL, it will be charged according to the number of boxes for a particular customer, or what?
No.
I mean,
yeah, I will tell you. I know where you're coming from actually. The OOCL and the freight forwarder, who is Karthi, right? They do not go by boxes. They will go only by the container. They're always the relationship between the OOCL and Karthi will be per container. So, for example, if I go back, for some reason on a particular day, he's supposed to fill in 15 boxes. Say, for example, let's say this customer C did not come. Okay. He could not able to find customer C. Now, even though you don't have 5 boxes, the OOCL will still charge you $100. Sorry, $1,000. but the freight forwarder will bleed here because he did not find any of them. So that's where they'll come and give you more discount, and they'll spread the word saying that I have a space, I will give you for a discounted rate to ensure that he's not bleeding anymore. He will try to do the trade even there. You're getting my point, right? So OOCL and Karthi is always per container, not by boxes.
That's okay. But my question is, like, let's say customer A is 4 boxes. So Karthi will make HBL according to 4 boxes, or I mean the space it is carrying in a particular container.
Correct. Correct.
Right?
Exactly. Correct. It's only for 4 boxes. Correct.
So it, but I mean, when it will make HBL, it will be different for customer A and customer B, because customer A is giving only 4 boxes, while customer B is giving 6 boxes.
Exactly. There will be a different. What will happen is the shipper name will be different, right? For with 4 boxes, it will say shipper name is customer A. When he creates another HBL, it will be customer B with the location. Correct. With
Like
6
I
boxes.
mean to say, like these loading charges or unloading charges, they will be based upon the quantity.
Correct. Exactly. That will be calculated based on his rate sheet, what he has keeping it with himself. What is been agreed by customer A and customer B.
Right.
You getting my point, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions?
To say these charges are prorated based on the number of boxes.
Absolutely, sir. And again, we will be good that you asked me that question. So we will be talking about, we will be using something called weight, right? Since you named this, I'm saying it weight, right? We are saying weight, okay? Weight. What we'll do? We have various weights, right? We have a gross weight. We have gross weight. We have net weight. And then we'll have something called gross volume, and we'll have also net volume. Now, what is that we are going to talk about here? We are going to have something called, let's go with the weight, kgs. You guys know about it. Then you have something called
Dimensions won't come under this.
What is that?
Dimensions won't come under this.
What do you mean by dimensions? That's what I'm going to bring it.
Volume, okay.
That's what I'm going to bring it. So now what will happen? We'll have kgs and tons in terms of weight. And then normally the standard way of using it here is called CBM, cubic meter. That is being mentioned as M3. This is the standard way of dimension, or whatever you call it as, like, the unit of measure what we will be using is CBM. For them it is called M3. Now majority of the time what will happen is you will be doing something called a conversion between your weight and the volume. What it means to me is, say for example, you're working for a chip manufacturing company, okay? Nvidia, for example. Nvidia makes a small chip which has been very costly, and it requires a lot of care before it getting shipped. Even the size will be very small, but the because of the insulation and everything, whatever it is being temperature and everything, they'll be putting it in a huge box. They'll be putting in a huge box. Now, if you look at it, the weight of that particular the chip maybe 300 grams, 300 grams, but the way it is being packed, it would be taking your half of your container space. Now, how will you calculate? Any idea? What you will do if you are a container? If you are a container, or if you're a trucker, what you will do? You go by weight?
No.
Will not go, right? But normally you have an agreement with that particular Nvidia saying that I will always charge you by weight. What you will do?
will go for conversion, because even if it is
Yes, for that also.
also.
Correct. What we will do is, in that case, what you will do, you have a imperial calculations. You know, I will introduce you when we are maintaining this in the agreement sheet. What we will try to do is, we will always say that this happens on a shipper scenario. Not on shipper scenario also it will happen. It will also happen in LSP scenarios. Okay, common to it. What I will do, I will convert volume to weight, so that my objective is met. Or sorry, wait. Ah, wait is my mouse. Wait. What happened? Okay. And then or weight to volume. Weight to volume. Able to do that. I will be introducing you when I'm maintaining my. I will also tell you how to do that and everything. So we will also try to put one kind of a scenario, and I will also give you my real-time example of what I did in my Saudi Arabia, where it was a bit challenging and why it was happened and so on. Right? That I will cover. Since there was a topic came on a weight, I just want to take this opportunity to introduce them also. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So how do you feel about this topic, right? Slowly we are getting introduced to the relevant uh, business, right? So this is where you will be talking about a lot. Now without you knowing it, you started working on resources. You started working on LCL, FCL, LTL, and FTL. You are talking about how this various customer. This is called a consolidation, deconsolidation, and so on. You're talking about the charges. You're talking about various vendors. You're talking about various charges of various. These are called charge types, and then how this bill of ladings and various measures that are coming in, and of course your imperial calculation. I believe the kickoff is happening correctly. I'm slowly injecting it, the business terminology, so that tomorrow you will feel that you're attached to your customer. One thing which I want to tell you is, because since we started here, the majority of this what do you call it, the beneficiary of whether you are an LSP or you are a thing is, you get discounts. When you get discounts, when you pay your vendor on time. When you pay your vendor on time, and you are able to reconcile, when you're able to reconcile your invoices accordingly, and you can able to release the payment to your vendors on time or before time, there is a beneficiary for you to get a big benefits is that you get 10%, 15% on a big chunk of money which you're spending it. This company, this Nestle company, will be spending in many millions, many millions they'll be spending on transportation cost. On that, if you look at it, if I can able to pay them on time, and if I'm getting about 10% return onto it, that's my profit. That's my profit. Now, this is one of the reason why LSPs or a shipper scenario are inclining towards the transportation management, is to benefit themselves by one, having a right data that has been transported. Number two, I can able to track my shipments. Number three, I can create a right invoices. I can dispute the wrong information that's been sent out by the vendors, and this dispute can be resolved or reconciled by the time when I want it. And on top of it, I can able to make my vendors payment on time to attract any kind of a discounts that can come into me as a kind of gesture, or good payment, or a goodwill, or whatever you do it. And the final thing is, because you want to keep your track record in the market, you don't need to do your down payment. Because if you do not do this, and if you want to attract better rates from your vendors, many of the cases, many of the companies are doing the down payments. And I witnessed my customers who were doing several millions as a down payment or advance payment to the vendors for them to run it, which is going to be a capital lock, and that doesn't yield you any interest. So if you ask me, if you ask me for the above reason, right? You said many of the reasons, right? Why I want to have a transportation management system. Whatever you said is perfectly correct. But addition to that, this is the primary factor. These 5, 6 factors which I told you is the primary factors why everyone wants to have either a homegrown application or an integrated solution or an SAP TM or OTM or anything for a matter of fact, for only one reason, to ensure that their goodwill are within the market and vendors are ready to take up their shipments and start transporting with a better and a lucrative rates. Clear? With this, I will conclude for today. And I'm slowly injecting it. So probably now we are getting into it why we need it, and then probably then we will take into a deep dive into a scenarios. Any questions now? Any questions? Because this is the question time, right? I know that I've overrun by 11 minutes, but that's fine. Yeah, because sometimes when we speak, it might overrun.
Hi, Sachin here, Karthik.
Yes, Sachin.
Thanks for explanation in detail.
No problem.
So my question is, what are the avenues? Maybe you're taking this in future classes, but what are the avenues wherein which we will have a certain kind of a discounts, apart from this? So let's say I'll take one certain discount. It's a vendor aggregation or vendor exemptions are there. Let's say vendor does. Let's say I'm a manufacturer. Okay, I need some raw material and I procure it from a particular vendor. Okay, so I am procuring from vendor for let's say 1 year. So at the end of the day or end of the month or end of the quarter, suppose I cross some business with him, the vendor, I'll get a discount. There is one concept called just not recollecting it, but anyway, so vendor, what it does is that vendor gives me a discount, wholesale discount, if I cross that particular number of orders.
Yeah, volume, basically volume.
Yeah, volume. Yes, business volume. So when I cross, let's say, okay, 1,000 metric ton, something I procured from him, he will give me additional 10% discount. So that kind of a discounts and etc. Is this? I mean, you have experience and how you tackled up or something like that. That's
yeah. That is the way how you're buying a material from the vendor, right, Sachin? That is the procurement side of it, right? That is material procurement. I'm talking about a service procurement here. When you do a services, like say for example, when Nestle is trying to do business with DHL, for an example, and the DHL is normally they don't take advances, okay, because of the goodwill. They will have an agreement. They will have when you want to do the payment terms and so on, invoice plus 30 days. What it means to me is, if you pay me like 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, it's getting accumulated on a 3-month period. If I, as a DHL, if I get the 3 million on time, I'm making an excellent revenue on it. So because I would also rotating my funds within the DHL, even though DHL is a big company, if 3 million is getting accumulated in 30 customers, it's a big money for them as well. So they also need to have the rotating capital. So in order to attract this, what they will do is, you say payment terms is invoice plus 30 days, on 30 or before one day, if you're making a payment, I will accumulate the percentage for you. Either I will adjust it towards the rate which I'm going to give you in further year, or I will give you as a kind of the surplus bonuses back to you. That is how the negotiation would happen. And it's still happening. There is a cash discount happening. What it means to happen is, like, they will keep adding this value, and they will say at the 12th month, whatever the bonuses or the discounts I have provided, you can deduct it at the last 12th month invoices. You can deduct it and pay me the rest of the amount. That is how the business works.
Okay, yeah, thanks. So basically, that kind of a discounts and etc. will it be in the some of the agreements or somewhere?
Yeah. Always, what they will do is, where there will be a kind of a contractual, paper contractual that would come in. When I say paper, means even you can do the docu sign also, you can do it. But for me, it's a paper document, right? That will attract a clause saying that if at all the payments are made correctly before on date, we are attracting 10%, because nothing can be by just orally, right? It has to be somewhere written tomorrow.
Written, it's okay. I'm saying it's whether SAP TMS has got a field or place to mention the discount.
Yes. It will be. That's where in their agreement we will start maintaining something called discount, right? We will have a charge type called discount. If we are paying it, we will keep accumulating that. Even though we're paying the full amount, we will accrue that amount somewhere else. At the 12th month, we will be raising an invoice saying that X amount minus this discount that I accumulated from 1 to 11th month, and I'm deducting it and I'm paying the remaining amount. That's all.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Because it is our vested interest to safeguard, right? So we will always, do a little tweak saying that we are making this payment, and of course we will be taking the blessing of finance also, because that amount will be getting accrued, somewhere saying that it will be a hanging fruit somewhere saying that, this amounts need to be recovered from the vendor DHL. Always it will say.
Okay. Maybe this is an advanced question.
No problem.
So let's say we are shipper. Okay, we are thinking of the shipper side, and the shipper has sent, let's say 10 FCL containers, okay, 10 FCL load to a particular country, okay, through this OOCL something. So then what I say, suppose it failed, or it failed during this transit or something, or it will come to reverse, or reversal means returned or something like that. So that is one thing. Secondly, what I've just thought about it, okay, now when you are sending it to the customer, the charges and all stuff, you have to invoice it to the customer, correct? So the real invoice, the billing document will be generated from that reference to sales document, correct?
No, we need to break the questions here, because if you are sending some kind of a shipment through OOCL, OOCL, by the word, I did not introduce the word called Incoterms here, okay? If I do introduce the Incoterms in the next coming session, what it means to OOCL is, whether they are returning it or not, they will go and deliver wherever it is supposed to be, okay? Now, what they will be doing is, they will put it in somewhere where it should be stored, and the storage cost will start accumulating it. You're getting my point, right? OOCL's responsibility is to deliver. They are the robots. Just they go deliver, and that's it. They'll leave it on the streets, or they will leave it on the floor, or they leave it into some kind of a storage area where you want to put it. If at all some challenges happens, you will be advising them to put it in some storage, either it is your storage or customer storage. You will mitigate the situation. You will jump in and mitigate the situation, whether that particular shipment need to have a return shipment that need to come in via OOCL or some XYZ, or it has to be scraped. You're getting my point, right?
Got it.
And because it's not that, I take a decision overnight over the phone saying that, you just because the insurance company would come in, that is insured, and there will be an arbitration that will come in if at all there is a legal challenges that comes in, and you need to have a lot of proof of documents where it went wrong, why it is getting returned. Many things will come in.
Okay, basically it will be handled mostly out of the SAP system, and
Absolutely.
whatever the conclusion is there, eventually it has been adjusted against the billing.
From an SAP system, it is delivered. That's all.
Okay. And the other part is that when the billing document, the actual material, okay, I'm shipping it. Let's say Nestle is shipping some non-pro product, baby food. Okay, so that baby food definitely they sent it for 10 containers to the their end customer. Now there will be one billing definitely for those 10 containers load to the customer, to the end customer. Number one. Number two, whether they will take, during the transportation, whatever the cost is happen, that cost will also be included in the eventual billing to the customer.
Sorry. Customer would not. That's where I said, if you read my first line, this is always, the transportation cost is always hidden. The customer would not, the NAN product, what the customer receiving would not know how much you paid for the transportation cost. It would be already planned and it is already accrued into your product cost. So the final bill, what the end customer is receiving is the product cost where the transportation cost is already hidden. Rather, what this vendor would do is, the vendor who shipped here, like who transported to you, will invoice you back to you, not to the customer, to you as a manufacturer, to settle his account. You're getting my point, right?
Okay.
That's how it works, not to the customer. There are certain stages, there are certain situations where this cost should be taken care by the customer. That is by the Incoterm. You're getting my point, right? So that's where that's the reason the logistics business is never standard, never be a standard. It is always one business is different, the other business is different. That's the reason TM is very, very, what you call, challenging to model it as standard solution, Sachin.
Okay, maybe in the future, in the coming lectures, we'll get this idea that how we are going to map, how we are going to consolidate and reconcile with the actual expenditure happen to ship these items to the customer, as well as the how it's going to integrate.
I'll give you a hint now, because we don't want to go as an open mind here. What will happen is you will be doing a planning beforehand. That's the reason you will be doing an RFQs with the vendors, asking them what would be the rate for per kg and everything. You will be asking them beforehand. That RFQs will be sent to a tendering, and the tendering would be responded with the actual numbers, and you do negotiate and you'll come with the final numbers. Now, these final numbers will be given to your planning, the production planning, the real NAN food product team, saying that if you are going to ship so much of product, this would be your transportation cost, and they will be feeding that data to them. Now, as a part of an IBP, they will take all this information and do the costing of it, plus adding the profit and everything. So it is not something we do it at the last minute and telling them this is what your cost is going to be. It will be happening well beforehand.
Yeah, understand. In the delivery, the SD document itself, there will be pricing procedure, wherein which it will be fed.
No, not in the SD. Not in the SD. In your production. In your production planning, when you're creating your BOM itself, because for your raw material, for your buying a raw material itself, you will be incurring the cost, right, Sachin?
No, that is a cost. In the raw materials and etc., you don't need to put that cost of this In the raw material procurement,
you will, yeah. Because if you're bringing from your vendor, how do you ensure the cost?
that is a normal vendor. See, normal vendor, when you are procuring a raw material, let's say you are procuring the milk powder, which is a raw material for non-pro products. Let's assume, okay. So maybe you are not procuring from onshore or from the across the seas. Maybe you are procuring inside this one. So you are not using the transportation and etc. It is just a vendor is sending it to you at your doorstep. Number one.
That is where I said you need to. That's what I said. All my consideration, all my scenarios is subject that if I take a purchase order, okay. The bottom line is if I'm talking about any kind of a purchasing, my assumption is I'm being a manufacturer. It is my responsibility to bring the raw material or finished material or semi-finished material from any place to my production plant. It's my transportation cost. That is how I simulate it, because that is what the whole context is all about, Suchi.
No, see, there are, as you said, Incoterms, international commercial terms, which meaning in the both the ways. It works both the ways. Okay, let's say FOB, free on board. The free on board will work in both the cases, whether you are procuring items from vendor or you are sending, you are selling the items across the seas, as you said rightly, to the customer sitting maybe at the USA from India or from any country. Okay, so into Incoterms, I understand. So basically in Incoterms also there is a CIF, for example, cost, insurance and freight. Three things are included, so that you are sending a material along with all your cost, insurance, as well as the freight amount which is incurred to the customer. So the customer will say, in your case, yes, as you said, first thing in CIF Incoterms, yes, the customer will see only the bottom line price. Per container he has to pay this much, or per kg, per ton he has to pay this much, and that's all. He's not considering all this. My query is, or I'm thinking, maybe you're taking it in the next classes, the coming classes, is that how a finance department from Nestle is going to reconcile it, that okay, particular product, when we ship it or when we sell it, the selling price is this, and we occurred the transportation cost is this, so that eventually when they see a books, okay, it get tallied. That's it. How from the system it happens, that will be interesting to see in the future. That's it.
Yeah, but again, the topic what you just spoke is well defined. But the question is, it is not just within the TM space.
No, agree. I'm not saying it's just not a TMS is going to be responsible for that.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking maybe I spoke about it because I just wanted to register in my mind and find a solution eventually. Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll okay.
No worries. Agreed. We can as we mature, we can speak on that. Yeah. Not a
problem. Thank you.
Yeah. No,
That's
anytime.
That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Super. I think it's a pretty, this is how we need to interact, and we need to get the things taken care. Super. Any more questions, friends? Okay. All right. I think
tomorrow we'll be meeting at the same time, 9 o'clock IST.
Name until tomorrow it will be 9, and going forward from Monday it will be 10.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Sure. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Bye. Bye for now.